Okay, what is up, everybody? We're not doing too much today. We're just gonna kind of hang out and reward y'all for just being cool. Basically, like this is, we haven't really streamed much lately, and I decided we're gonna take today and maybe just play your decks for a little bit. And it's not gonna be a long stream, maybe an hour and a half, 2 hours, but wanted to just do something fun, a little different for everybody. Gonna let everybody in the Discord know that we're going live now, so they can come join us. All right. Do 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 do. All right, here we go. Let's make sure everything is working the way it's supposed to, and I think we're good. So how's it going to work? Same as the Deck Doctor post in Discord? Absolutely. We're going to do it the same way as we normally do. So you'll go over to the Discord link. I'll post it here so everybody can have it. And then when I say go, you will go to the standard channel. And then you will post your deck. And then we will go in order. And we're not going to do a lot, maybe just a couple games with each person, just to kind of see what the vibe is and how things are working and what you're playing with lately. And then that'll be it. And then everybody can, if you celebrate Christmas, go enjoy your Christmas or whatever it is you celebrate. But yeah, so link has been posted there in the Twitch chat. Looks like it didn't post to YouTube. So, though in YouTube, it's in the description, but I'll put it here in the YouTube chat anyway. Don't know why I didn't want to share that in chat. That's interesting. I'll have to keep that in mind for the future, but there you go. But we're just giving everybody a chance to kind of get in here before I say go. So there's a fair chance for everybody. Other than everyone just mad scrambling because you were here first, and give everybody a little bit of a chance. But I do appreciate those of you that are here early, for sure. I already have a few people hopping in. And I don't expect this to be a very busy day. It is Christmas Eve. I'm sure people are spending time with family, watching movies. Some people open presents. They have their own personal family rituals they do, before Christmas. So I get it. Galahad the Lost, Merry Christmas to you too. We keep it pretty chill. Like, we do a lot for Thanksgiving and have friends over and everything. But for Christmas, we keep it pretty chill. We do very little. And, we do stuff together. We open presents. We do all that. But we don't do, like, the big gathering, the huge kitchen meal, all that stuff. Like, that's a Thanksgiving thing for me at my house. We are the change. Merry Christmas to you as well. So glad this is happening. Glad you're enjoying it. Jay White, welcome. So yeah, like I said, not going to be anything crazy. This is more just, I had time. We chill. I did a bunch of videos, so I have stuff preloaded for the next couple days, so I don't have to be on for Christmas Day. But I wanted to, still touch base, see what everybody's got going on. Give you the last appearance of the hat before. Actually, technically, you will see a video tomorrow where I still have the hat. And then after that, no more hat for the rest of the year. Where are the chances? General question for the people. Are you okay that Standard is objectively turned into a turn 4 format? Sometimes turn 3. That's the thing. I don't think that it is a turn 4 format. Can decks win on turn 4? Yes. But a lot of games are definitely going beyond turn 4 or 5 still. Like, as a matter of fact, I have a video coming up on Saturday. No, Christmas is on Thursday. Yeah, it'll be on Saturday, where I don't think a single game finishes before turn 8. And actually, today's video had a few games that went beyond turn 4, for sure. Now, again, the thing is, even say now that, like, are decks fast? Yes, but we've had decks that have been fast, right? We've had Rakdos, Mono Red, Mono Green, whatever, over the last couple of years that have been turn 4 fast, right? What that means is just when you're deck building, you have to take into consideration a whole variety of stuff, because you have to account for the graveyard decks, the hyper aggro decks, some control stuff still out there, some combo stuff with Omniscience and Kona and that type of thing. But yeah, there's decks like Yuna that still get played that I don't even think they can win before like turn 6. It takes them turn 4 minimum just to set up a Una before you even get to start doing stuff. Usually turn 5 still. The Jeskai control decks, the Dimir mid-range decks, those are all going to be playing longer games for sure. So yeah, I wouldn't say it's a turn 4 format for sure. Even the deck we posted recently that we were talking about, the green-white landfall deck that's become kind of a big thing in Standard in the tournaments, it can win on turn 4, but usually it's still a turn 6, turn 7 thing a lot of times with that deck. It's great if you can brew, you can play whatever you want and do well. That's the thing about Standard right now. There probably is the largest variety of decks we've seen played in Standard in quite a bit, right? Because we have the mono green landfall, the white green landfall, which is technically more harmonizer deck or whatever. There's the Dimir mid range, Azorius can Jeskai control. We still have various teamer decks. There's like 3 different lessons / is it decks. There's still some mono blue stuff kind of floating around. The Esper Pixie decks still pop up. There's various Gruul decks because there's like Delirium, the new weird mix between Delirium and aggro that's floating around still. That's a thing. Mono white token control kind of decks, whatever you want to call those. Those are still doing a thing. Mono white life gain still a thing. Like we see all kinds of decks right now. Action on the ladder. You will still see the mono green ramp, blah blah whatever. Yeah, you'll still see those. Will you still see mono red? Yeah, absolutely. Hell, Azorius Synthesizer still out there. Forgot about that deck. That's still a thing. So yeah, there's a lot right now. I believe the format was warped aggressively with the massive amount of spot removal to stop aggro that wins turn 3 or 4, so it's warped the format, refusing lose aggro. That's what Is It did at Worlds. Yeah, that was basically it. And the funny thing is, had anybody brought a decent mid-range deck, or anything Planeswalker based or whatever, they would have beat a lot of the Is It decks. Because all the Is It spot removal from the spells doesn't target Planeswalkers. And if you can get rid of their graveyard, their spells don't do a whole lot. Right? But those other decks were concerned about, we might get run over by the hyper aggro decks, so a bunch of people opted to play the other thing because they were all worried about Badger Mole Cubs. And it turns out, you really probably should have been worried about Gran. That's what I always tell people. When we see the results from the big tournaments, you have to take into account what type of event it was, right? Because let's say it's an event where 160 people are qualified. Like this past weekend, right? For Timeless, we saw, I think it was 100, not even 100. Was it 100 people? Something like that. It was a fairly small pool of players that got qualified, maybe like 120, right? But several of these players tested with each other. They kind of knew what other people are going to be playing. So the environment becomes a bit homogenized, might be the best word, because everybody's kind of building toward the same thing and they sort of know what other people are doing. So then the best players came out of their lab with these Necro variants. Everybody was, oh man, this must be the best deck. All the best players decided to play it, blah, blah, blah. And it did put the most people into the top 8 and top 16, but then ultimately lost to the mono red prison deck, right? So now, does that mean that's the best? I don't know. The guy beat 4 Necro decks on the way to the top to winning the tournament. So, like, maybe it's the best deck, or it's the deck that beats the Necro decks, right? And that's kind of all we really know. Can't really take away too much from that, because even on commentary, we were talking about all these other decks that were still available that might be okay against the Necro decks, especially blue-based decks that can play Fear of Negation or whatever, or Force of Negation, but they just didn't exist because they were worried about other decks that ended up not even really being present or being a factor. So that's what I always say. Yes, a deck can win a major tournament, but always look at the situation, even more so on the Pro Tour, because 6 of those rounds are draft rounds that the people have to win to get. So there's sometimes somebody has a really good standard deck, but they lose all their draft rounds. So then their deck doesn't show up as high in the standings. Or vice versa, where somebody has just an okay standard deck, but they got 6 of their wins from playing draft, so their deck shows up in the top 8 list when it's maybe not the best standard deck to be playing. You know what I mean? So there's a lot of things that can shape those lists when you see them. Lots of angel decks, or maybe that's just me. I've seen more than I have in the past, but not a lot. maybe one every couple of days I get on. But that's still more than I've been seeing. Let's see. We Are the Change says, in my humble opinion, that is the best players in the world, so we're aware of how insanely powerful aggro and aggro combo, landfall, earthing are that just played so much removal. Yeah. Lost to Boros and Angels today. Yeah, Boros is still good. There's a couple different Boros decks that are still playable. All right. So those that haven't done it yet, I'm going to post the Discord link again. If you would like to have your deck considered, hop over to the Discord channel, go to the standard portion, put your deck list there. Put a link to your deck list, not your deck list. Wherever your deck list is hosted, give me that link so I can get your deck list from there. It'll save a lot of time. And then we will see. Again, if you do not get selected, please do not be offended. This is going to be a fairly short stream. I'm just going to take them in order. However, if you want to jump the queue and you come in late, you can make a donation, at least $2, and we can let you skip the queue. Otherwise, it'll just be whatever order we are already in. Josh Bats, Loft 6447. What are the numbers for in your name? I'm always curious what the numbers mean in people's usernames. Because some of them, it's just like, I just took whatever was random. Some people actually have real explanation for what those numbers mean. But yeah, let me hop over Discord and see who we've got in order so far. If I can get back to my own Discord, because, you know, that seems important. Yamar, you just have a deck list posted. I do not take those. I need them posted with a link hosted somewhere for me to be able to consider them. That's the way this works. If it's just a regular list, I ignore it because too often people post stuff in a weird format or a card doesn't come up right or whatever, and it just slows things down. It's a lot easier if I can just take the list and it's already pre-formatted for an export to MTG Arena, and it makes life a whole lot easier. I really appreciate it when people can do that. Abs and combo. Let's take a look at it. By the way, if you put a control deck up, assume I'm just not going to play it. We're not wasting 20 to 30 minutes of the stream to play one control game. That's not something I'm interested in doing. Especially for people that are hanging out on Christmas Eve. Nobody wants to sit and watch that. Oh, you're going to make me craft bossing, say, for this thing? Really? I hate you so bad right now. I mean, I have the gems to do it or whatever. I'm going to put this on the back burner. Just because I'll see if we may make it the last thing on the stream if we have time. Because that's the only deck I'm going to be playing Bossing Say, and I don't know if I want to spend wild cards on that. It's probably a fine deck. Don't get me wrong. I expect it's probably going to be fun. I've played Baltor decks before. Nothing wrong with it. I don't know if it needs Bossing Say, to be honest. But maybe I'll play it and I'll just swap something out instead of Bossing Say. I could play like one of the big... actually, to be honest, playing one of the big... Turtles might actually work as well in there. But, yeah, this is wild. Without a lot of ways to produce black, that's kind of crazy, but you do have these lands. That's fun, though. Let's see. Let me see who's next up. Like I said, I may come back to that. That's a whole different thing. This says Rakdos Fire from Darkent 83. All right, let's see what we got here. We will try this out. Bossing Say is a great land. I tried to tell everybody that in preview season. And folks are like, well, I don't know. Blah, blah. It's like, I don't know, man. Like, when me and Dev were talking about it, like, I thought that was going to be a good card. Deck limit. Man, I made so many decks in the last couple weeks. Hold up. I got to delete some things. I honestly have so many decks in process or things that I am testing or weird ideas I had that y'all never see on camera. The other thing, too, is sometimes I'll have decks where like I just start working on them and then just don't come back to them for a while. And I had a deck just the other day I was looking at. I genuinely didn't even remember what I was trying to do with the deck. It was that long since I came back to it. It was funny because the deck actually looked reasonable, but I was just like, why did I build this? Was I trying to solve for a problem? Were there certain cards I was worried about beating? Like, but that's what happens sometimes. You know, it's just part of the job, I guess, if you want to call it that. Why do I? Oh, these were some I had in here from the preview season, early access thing. That Foggy Swamp deck, though, was kind of legit. I also have a new Allies deck I wanted to make a video for sometime after the holidays. So y'all will probably see that fairly quickly. Oh, what are you playing that I have to craft? Ozai. Well, why are there 4 Ozai in here? Oh my gosh, y'all are killing me today. Would you prefer that similar but pretty different to something you've already done? Yeah, something new would be fun, you know. Real Spies, you don't have a thing in the shop to buy more deck slots. Because when you're in the shop, if you're looking to buy decks, it basically prorates the decks. So let me bring it up. Like if you already have most of the cards, that's why it's so cheap. It basically whatever cards are in the deck that you already have, it doesn't charge you for those basically. So you don't get a bunch of just like duplicates or whatever that would just turn into gems. So that's why sometimes you just won't even see. That's why it says duplicate discount. Like sometimes you just won't even see them in your queue, if I remember right. All right, hold up a second. I'm gonna do something here. I have to do this in a way that actually I know how to do this. just for privacy purposes, I'm going to move to a different screen here, and we're gonna go to here for a second. While I go into make a purchase in Arena. Only because I love y'all and I'm going to do this. I'm spending my money on Christmas Eve so y'all get entertainment. Let me go in here and take care of this real quick. It's not that big a deal, though, honestly. Let me go over here. Let's get... I just realized I never even did the Spark bundle or the Adventurer bundle. Those are actually decent deals, and I just had them sitting there this whole time. That's actually kind of wild. I don't know why I haven't done it. I just haven't done it, which is crazy. All right, so let's go in here. Let's do this. I'm just making a couple of purchases real quick. I just wasn't going to have all my info on camera and whatever and make it crazy. So I figured that would have been a really bad idea. What just happened there? Did somebody just follow? I missed it. I had some of my things made noise, and I don't have them set up on this particular screen yet. Yeah, all right. Let me do this. Continue. And then I may just crack some packs and see if we get a couple of cards. Oh my gosh, why am I not auto-logged in here? All right. I guess it's even better I wasn't on camera because, oh my gosh, now I have 2-factor on everything. I mean, good practice to have, just bad whenever you're live. Okay. Now we should be able to complete all this. Wait, what? Uh-oh. Why is this not letting me? Okay. Well, maybe not. All right, well, I may not be able to do this if I want to, y'all. I think they're having a Christmas Eve issue on the servers. That is a problem. So I don't know if I could complete this task even if I wanted to. I guess the backup is we could just crack a bunch of packs. So I'll just spend a bunch of gold. Yeah, that's unfortunate. All right. Well, I'll just see what I can do. The new version has +1 Lewis and -1 Ozai. Oh, that's fair. I'll just leave it as is. It's fine. All right. I have some gems. Let's go ahead and get a bunch of packs. Let's get these. Actually, let's get these. Let's get a couple of sets of 10. And then I'll cash in a bunch of gold. Let's get 3 more packs of 10 of just gold. And then we'll hop back over to Arena and we can just crack packs and see how close we get. We'll also get some number of mythics from doing this too. So that's fine. That's just $5 to offset the cost of the wild card so much. Thank you so much. All right, let's hop back over to the Magic screen. There's Darkin's $2. It just showed up. 5 gift memberships. Bro, you didn't have to do that. Well, hey, y'all thank Catastrophe if you're on YouTube for the YouTube memberships. Those will not get acknowledged on a video until Sunday, though, because I have videos pre-scheduled through Saturday, I think. Yeah, there's going to be a lot of memberships popping up here. Let's go crack our packs in the meantime while that's happening. Do we get any actual bossing or the walls of bossing, say, or any actual Ozais out of these? Let's see. Well, hey, we got 2 mythic wild cards, though. So that was pretty sweet. All right. There's an Ozai. So part of the goal is done. And that's part 2 of 2. Well, I appreciate it. We're recouping some gems. Oh, I am going to do a video with the planetarium as well. That's one of my next ones I want to do. I'm trying to build with all, like, the weird cards at some point. Wow, are we almost close to completing the set? And it's just giving us a bunch of wild cards? Yeah, look. We didn't get any of the rares or mythics there. That's crazy. Okay, well, we do have enough now. We're going to be 1 mythic short for one of the decks, but that's fine. So let's go back in order and do them as they were submitted. So let's go to the Abzan combo first. And we will craft these. All right. And then we said the other one was minus an Ozai plus something. I saw that we had posted a second ago. Plus a Lewis minus an Ozai. All right, I'll make that note right now. Then we'll make that change. Plus Lewis minus Ozai. All right, got it. So let's go ahead and hop in here. We'll play this one. All right. First live. Let's go. Well, hello, Gary. Welcome. Thanks for the entertainment. You are very welcome. All right. Let's see what we can do with this. Because I have no clue how this is going to work out. Let's see. But I don't think we keep this, right? Because Pollinator doesn't do anything by itself. These would let us search, but not till... I mean, yeah, we got to mulligan that. We can't keep that. Definitely get rid of the walls. Okay. An opposing Lanamora elf. And we just kind of have a bunch of mana here. I guess the plus side is here, if our stuff lives, we just go get Kona and play a big wall in the way. Oh, that reminds me. I have a sweet elf deck coming up in a couple of days. Y'all should enjoy that one. All right, let's go get Kona. So we can get Bossing Say, the walls of Bossing Say into play. At some point. I mean, we might die next turn, though. Like, they could for real set up a Crater Hoof situation. Because that's 3, 6, 7, 8. Oh, and there's an Ouroborid. Oh, my gosh. All right. Well, let's see. If we do this for 2... Then we get to Kona with those 2. Kona taps. We get to put a Bossing Say into play. And then stuff has indestructible. All right. I mean, we still might die, but we at least made it look good. Okay, it wasn't a Crater Hoof. Thanks. Actually, I guess technically Crater Hoof wouldn't kill us because we could block 30 of it, and these two would have had to tap. So I guess we wouldn't have been dead. This would be my concern with this deck, though. It's like, at a quick glance, I'm not sure our best weapons for beating any type of fast aggro like this. Well, that's a thing. Yeah, that's bad. Not gonna lie, that's real bad. Yeah, I don't think we do anything other than just put a bunch of blockers in the way. And then just tap Kona again. I mean, we can attack for 5. I don't think we're blocking with this. Like, double checking, but I'm pretty sure we're not. I mean, if they get anything that gives their stuff trample, we're just dead now, for real, right? Because everything's going to be plus 17. I mean, the good news is we can block and not die because of the walls of Ba Sing Se. Right? There's at least that. So if it's not something that gives trample, we're largely okay. Does this guy let you play extra cards? You may let you play creatures from the top of your library. Forgot about that card. So much cool stuff in Foundations, man. If y'all are ever wondering, just go look through that set. There's so much good stuff in there. Like cards people forget about. No! Oh, we are so done now. That's like the weakness of this deck, though, I'd imagine. If they have any artifact removal, you're just toast. Wait, they didn't... Oh, they had to get the counters first to be able to kill our thing. Hey, we got another Ba Sing Se. That's funny. So we can attack for 5, 6, 7. That's 14. Oh. How many creatures do you have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We'd attack with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Dang it. They have exactly enough blockers. If we could even have gotten one more creature through here, it would have been awesome. All right. I guess we got to do this. Oh, actually, even if we attack... Hold on. Because then we'll only have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. No, we'll have 6 blockers. 1, 2, 3. Oh, but they'll have 7 attackers. Ah, that's not good. I guess I can only attack with the Siriema here. Man, that feels bad. Wait, no, that's not right. Yeah, because this will untap, and they have 7 attackers. So I need 7 blockers, because they're all going to be plus 34. Ah, dang it. All right. I wish I could have done more. We were so close. We were so close. All right, here's hoping they don't have another removal spell. I mean, I guess it's fine. No, because we need every blocker. Yeah, if they have a removal spell for the walls, we're dead. If they don't, we get a win, and it's sweet. Oh, they're saying GG's? I don't know if that means they can kill our wall or not. I try not to early GG's, because you never know whatever's going to happen. Even here, I could be like, yeah, GG's. And they're like, ha, kill your wall. Attack for whatever, 65 or whatever it is. Okay. Brugger Elite, for 1, doesn't really do anything. Yep. They attack with a bunch of stuff. We block across the board. Yep. Glad I double-checked that math, because I almost attacked with that extra body, and we definitely would have lost. All right. Now, we lose everything, but we at least still have a flyer, and they don't have a blocker. That's literally the only way we could have won that, I think. That's so sick. Exacxies. Oh, man. Yeah, I would say if you wanted to play this again, that's probably going to be one of the weaknesses of the deck, if I were guessing, is when you don't have Bossing Say, some of the wins are going to be pretty tough. Or if they have just a simple removal spell or whatever. We got lucky, played against an opponent who really didn't have much. I think was the thing there. But overall, I mean, the deck seems fun, interesting, what I would expect. I think it's probably the only way to play Bossing Say because, using Kona to get it in, and you can still use this to search for like Bator or anything if it comes to that, which is kind of cool. So I don't mind that. Is it the best use of the mana package? Who knows? Maybe. I mean, it's funny because on the one hand, I'm like, do you really need Bloodletter? Not particularly, but it at least works occasionally, like we saw there. Sariema getting to attack for 10 was at least able to help us set up a win, which was cool. Obviously, with Bator, it's pretty cool because, you can get to where your opponent loses life, they lose life for this. But the reality is, if your opponent's just going to lose a bunch of life anyway to Bator, they're probably just dead. I mean, like, if you get to where you have Bossing, say, Bator and something else, they probably just lose half their life regardless. Like, obviously, this is a combo, so they lose all their life, but I don't know if it's necessary. Considering you don't have a great way to cast it, so you kind of have to trick it into play. I mean, sure, we do have Paleontologists, and then we can get these lands, so we can do it if we draw it, but I don't know if you need more defensive cards to protect the wall or something like that. Might be more interesting. But overall, it worked. That's kind of it at the end of the day. Yeah, 2 mythics do work. That's exactly it. You're out of rares to get. Still have some. Oh yeah, from earlier. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. All right. The second one was this one, right? Rakdos. Oh, I guess we opened enough Ozais during all that. That's funny. Okay, well that worked. So what do we got here? We're doing some firebending, trying to save up a bunch of mana so that we can Ozai and have a big indestructible crazy guy. All right. I think that's reasonable, self-explanatory for what it's trying to do. It's kind of neat. I've been thinking about building with Ozai anyway, so this is kind of fun. Also, welcome everybody who's joining us a little bit later here on this Christmas Eve as we're streaming and playing some magical cards. Good to see all y'all. Nice to have you around. Okay. We've got Firebending Lesson, Last Agony. Yeah, sure, we keep this. Only one creature, so whatever we play first likely eats the removal. But otherwise, not terrible. You are 2 mana. Never mind. And this just needs you to have a basic, right? Yeah. What is this dude? Oh, when it dies, create a food? I mean, I guess I'll kill that. And this deals... Alright, let's go ahead and play this. And we'll run this out. It probably dies, but oh well. Target creature control fights target creature don't control this creature. Opponent controls that much extra damage. Yeah, alright. Feed the Cauldron. Sure, you got it. So opponent's obviously playing something food related. Oh, Golgari Sweets? I guess it could be that. Probably chasing an achievement. Yeah, some people do that. The deck on the day after Christmas, so on Friday, I think I have up as an elf deck if you're looking to meet that requirement. Well, this sucks. I mean, I guess I could just bank some more mana for the heck of it. But nothing else is really going to happen here. Maybe just use that mana to play another one. Decline, because we're going to use that to play this one. They're going to crack a food, go to 23. All right. Old Napkin Eye, how's it going? Well, I guess I just have to use this to kill that. Need another black mana at some point. Oh, I can't forage. Oh, I can. All right, that works. Because I don't have another black mana to pay, and that would have been quite sad. Let's get rid of this. I have a feeling it doesn't matter too much. Oh, actually it does. I could have left a lesson in there. That's bad. We will attack, and then we'll just sit on some mana. If it comes down to it, I will scoop early because we are on a limited time on the stream because I do have other things to do for New Year's or for Christmas. So if they have a win, I will just give them the win and we will move on. They don't have Death Touch yet. All right. Opponent? Are we there? Maybe. Bueller. Anyone? Bueller. It didn't work. Last time we did it on stream, they actually responded. Yeah, definitely more firebending, man. That's fine. All right, cool. I'm probably just going to use some mana to do this. Oh, wait, crap. Do I still have 3 cards? I only have 2 cards in the yard. That ends up not being possible. Well, that's unfortunate. All right. That didn't work out the way I wanted. We'll just have to bank more mana here, I guess. For something in the future. Probably just to look at extra cards. Yeah, I just take all the damage. Do. Make rats. All right. Sounds good. Okay. So we have... Wait. Oh, yeah. Wait, that didn't make us red mana? It made us black mana. Oh, my God. I have to manually tap to get the red mana? Of course we do. That's super unfortunate. I need a black mana really badly here, though. This has not gone well for us. Damn. I can hit the player. What are you taking? 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 if I play this? I don't love it, but sure. It's better than nothing. Man, if we'd have had a swamp or something here, we'd have been much better off making a 6/6 demon, though. Good news is, though, if we do find it, at this point, we can just Lewis, and that's okay, too, I guess. Alright, here's hoping. I mean, if they get the enchantment or whatever, that I don't know if that's still legal, that, like, you can pump all your creatures to the number of food you have or whatever. If that thing happens, we're cooked. But, well, not really. They just cracked the food. Oh, we're definitely still casting the Annex. We don't have a choice. Like, we have no other real play. Like, that's all we have available. All right. We need... I will say this, though. Two things going on here. One, not the biggest fan of this card as a removal spell. I'd rather have something that's fewer conditions. But I get why you play it. But I'm also not a big fan of the tap lands unless I very specifically have stuff I want to do with the graveyards for these kind of very reasons. Because, man, if we could untap and use this, great. But unfortunately, right now, we kind of have to play this. Whatever we get, we kind of have to just surveil to the yard anyway. And I don't even think it's enough. Because we could block, still take 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah. I mean, I guess there's a weird way. Hold on. We could attack, play this, use this to kill a guy. I don't know if that produces enough mana. I don't think I have enough mana for that. But let's try. I don't think it does what I want it to do. Because we have to kill either... Oh, no, because they make another rat. Yeah, never mind. We can't win anyway, then. Yeah, the plan doesn't matter. I forgot they were going to make extra rats. So, yeah, we couldn't win. Even if this worked the way I wanted to, still wouldn't matter. I was going to play the other one, use some of the spare mana to kill one of these, then use the Feed the Swarm to kill this, but there's still going to be too many rats. All right, GG's. No, Alan, I don't think that's necessarily true. I've played some Rakdos decks. Like, it's not same way I've played Selesnya decks, right? They don't have the fast lands and they don't have the shock lands. I just think you have to lean more on your, like, starting towns, multiversal passage, stuff like that to do what you need to do. Well, that's true. It only targets players anyway, so I couldn't even do that if I wanted to. So, like, yeah. I think that's the issue. Conceptually, I dig what the deck's trying to do. Not opposed to it. We'll give it one more go. But yeah, I think card choices are definitely choices I wouldn't make in my deck building. I do like the Surveil lands when I specifically need things to have more mountains or swamps or basic land types. Or, like I said, when we need stuff to go to the graveyard or we're constantly hunting for things, then it kind of makes sense. This deck more feels like I just want to draw things and then use mana for things, right? I don't want to take turns off to not be able to cast something or move something to the graveyard or whatever. I mean, obviously, it gets a lot easier when you do have shock lands, fast lands in the appropriate colors. Which we will be getting in, what, like a month? Ooh, this is way too slow, unfortunately. Though it has cards I do like in hand. Does this deck have a reasonable fast start of any kind? Like, okay, this will have to be it. You two are fired. Like, this is the best we can do. Alright, at least we can do that on turn 3. I swear I've seen this somewhere else. When you attack, you can sacrifice another creature. If you do, draw a card. Alright. Let's start here. Yeah, even last Agni Kai, I get what you're trying to do and generate the extra mana or whatever, but just play a regular burn. Like, this should just be like a lightning strike or something. You're still playing an aggressive deck. Just, like, be able to pick stuff off. Like, if our opponent would have played, say, a turn 2... I don't know. Actually, a very common turn 2, right? We were talking about Badger Mole Cub. The fact that we would struggle to get rid of it in some cases would suck, right? What else are you playing over there, opponents? I guess we'd play this. I have a feeling we're just setting it up to die, though. We'll see. Alright. What else you got? Cracking of food. Okay, so they're just going to put counters on their guy and attack here. Makes sense. Crack the other... Oh, they didn't crack the other food. Interesting. What are we going to do with that mana? Also, how many lessons are we playing that we were playing this? Because if we only have these as lessons, I would rather just play Burst Lightning. Because it's going to be way easier to hit something for 4 later in the game than it is to even hit something. Because then I'd have to have like 2 lessons plus this to equal the same. And we can play this. Oh, crap. I won't have double black. I guess we'll still just play the Unholy Annex anyway, though. Or we'll do Ritual Chamber next turn. Whoops. Oh, we're still in the attack step. There we go. All right. In the turn. All right. What are you doing here, opponent? Nope, just gaining a bunch of life and making a big dude. And getting cards in the process. Interesting that while we don't have a way to deal with it, they're not going for more life against the aggro deck. What are we playing post-combat here? Araman, I forgot that was a magic card. No lies. 100% forgot that was a real card. That's funny. Okay, then. Where does that leave us? We play this. That leaves us 2 mana. I kind of want to do... Well, this will get us 2 life, too, though. Alright. Big demon it is. And I don't think it's worth it to attack or have the demon fight anything. We could just save to block here if we want. Oh, there's Mr. Ozai. Opponent's definitely taking advantage of these clue tokens. They're like, well, what if I attack with a 6/6? Then what are you going to do? I'm probably just going to block is what I'm going to do. And then just see what you got going on. Nothing, apparently. All right, we could live with that. Neat. I can safely fight that thing, so let's do that. And we'll get 2 extra mana here. 1 from the Agni Kai and 1 from Bayo. Which does allow us to play Ozai. Is that the only way we can do that? Yeah, it's no other way that matters. Alright. Let's see. I need 6 mana. I don't have a way to make sure I have 6. And I don't want to lose this to a stupid Araman, so no deal. Oh, I don't know. If I'd have known I was going to draw another Ozai, I would have definitely let the other one attack. That's funny. Sinister Monolith. Wow. Okay. Well, we're down to 8. Admittedly. Oh, well, this is going to be a lot of extra mana. Let's go ahead and Firebend on you. And then making sure Arena leaves me with double black still. Let's go ahead and play this pre-combat just because, so we can't mess this up. And then we'll attack with a whole bunch of extra mana. And that should be game. Like, really, just this combination is enough. Because when this dies, we just spin the mana to deal it to the opponent. Do-do-do-do-do-do. There you go. Yeah, I conceptually like what's going on, but like I said, I've been toying around with ideas for Ozai for a couple of days. And I feel like you still have to play just a good, efficient early game. And I think some of these things don't let the early game be as efficient as you want. So I'd probably be focusing on that a little bit more, cleaning some stuff up, giving you a few more early play. I mean, admittedly, you do have stuff like Airbender, Firebender Ascension and stuff. And this is the only thing we have that makes demons, huh? That would be a little bit something I would question, possibly. I mean, it is the best card to draw things in these colors, obviously. So, I mean, I guess you still play it because you gotta. But I'd be curious if there's other bodies you could play here that would be reasonable at either 3 or 5 mana, right? With Aclazotz itself or something like that could be worth considering. And yeah, and I'm firing the Raucous Theaters all day long. like those things can go the way of the dodo as far as I'm concerned. From my list anyway. Your deck, you have different preferences. But yeah, overall, conceptually, I like what it's doing. I think there's a lot that depends on Bayo, but when it works, it's cool. How would the first strike Raccoon from Bloomborough do in this deck? The one that makes some 1 red mana on attack? It's probably just not as good as the other 2 mana things you have that have firebending. Sad, though, because there's not a lot of spots for that card. I think I played it in one deck around the time Bloomborough came out, and I was using the extra mana to, like, accelerate into dragons or something, I think is what I was doing. So, yeah, there's not a lot of room to really mess with on that card. But all right, let me hop back over to the Discord, see who is next in line. So that was Darkent Yamar. Here we go. Get your list from there. Also, thank you to everybody who's using Moxfield, because they support the channel, and that's always cool. When you support people that support us, I get to keep doing things, and our sponsors are happy. Let me see. Download this list for Arena. Why did it do it that way? That did not work the way I thought it was going to. It's all right. This should still work just fine, though. This is another Bayo deck? All right. We'll see what this is. Y'all are on a thing today. Everybody's on the same page, I guess. I knew that was going to happen. All right, let me go back. Do they have an easier way for me to get the export to? Let's try this. All right, here we go. This should work. Oops, not that. I still think Moxfield has like the cleanest exporter. But this works too. Oh my gosh, what are you playing that I have to craft? What are y'all doing to me today? Like, y'all are killing me. Sozin's comment. Oh my gosh. All right. Oh, okay. I appreciate you, but I'm not going to play this because this is literally just mono red aggro. Like we've seen a bunch of versions of this already. I mean, this is fine. It's probably an okay deck. I mean, I'm not saying your deck's bad, but this is literally just mono red aggro. It's just choosing different things so you can get more fire breathing to Sozin's comment. Like, I think we all did some version of this, or at least had it in our back pocket during the streamer early access event or whatever. So, yeah, we're gonna skip on this one. There's probably nothing wrong with the deck. Again, just not one that, I mean, I don't think that's going to be entertaining or anything to learn from for the chat, because we're just going to either run the opponent over and then comment for like 3 and then we win, and that's not very interesting or entertaining. Again, nothing wrong with the deck, because I would probably still play it. If you're just playing ladder games or whatever, like, go for it. I think it's totally reasonable. It's just not necessarily good for content purposes. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I think you're totally fine playing it and ranking up with it. I think it's, like I said, it's mono red aggro. We know the deck's good. Nothing wrong with it. Rakdos Aristocrat, or okay. Oh yeah, so some version of this that we've seen it before, but it's a little bit different. I'll tell you why you haven't seen it since preview days. Because it's bad for view counts for a lot of people. It's the same reason you don't see, like, some of the control decks are actually good, but you don't see a lot of people play them, is because it's just bad for views. Like, people watch one game or two games and go, all right, cool, I've seen what I need to see, and then they don't watch anymore. Which I get, right? If you're playing mono red, the only time, like, if I'm doing mono red, if you notice, I normally do videos on, like, big red or red dragons or whatever, right? It's rarely going to be just, hey, here's a fast red deck that's just trying to burn you out or whatever. Even though those decks are still very good and very playable. Let's keep it. Let's just play this and get it out the way. I will keep a Lord Skitter, especially when your opponent has green-black, because they could use the graveyard, potentially. But then they do nothing. Alright. I will put this on black, I suppose. And we'll just get in there with this dude. What kind of removal you want to play against a Ginger Brute, huh? Nah, I actually like not looking over the decks before I play them. I mean, I understand it's a toolboxy deck. It's Tezzeret. So when the time comes, I'll just minus Tezzeret and look at whatever I need to look at. Insatiable Avarice. Oh boy, what are we going to go get? They don't have anything that auto-taps, so it's not Kona. It's possible it's something to do with the graveyards. I think, though, as it stands, we already have this. Let's just go here. No clue what they're trying to set up, but they definitely tutored for something that's probably important. Simulacrum. Well, that does ramp you up a bit. And they have a plains. What the hell? And they went and got a green mana instead of getting another white or a black. Oh boy, what does all this mean? I am concerned. You know what? I'll go ahead and get this in play. I'll just shoot that, let them have their card. And then we'll just figure out what to do after this. Because I really don't know. Sure. Okay. I wouldn't be surprised if there's a sweeper here. Avatar blue-white flying counter is close to unbeatable, as I found. I think describing anything as unbeatable is not correct. I do think that those tempo decks can do very well if they get certain draws, no doubt. Let's get this out the way. Let's go ahead and draw one. See if maybe we find a land. We did not. All right. Well, attacking we go. If we drew a land, I was seeing if maybe I might draw or just play another pursuit, but 'tis okay. I don't even think it matters where we put the counter, most likely. I have a feeling if they do anything, it's probably going to be to sweep the board here. Because they finally went and got their second white mana. Could also be Ultima, which would be kind of rough. It would just leave us with pursuits, a bunch of lands, and I guess we go into Tezzeret action. Oh, cease and desist, but then you just die. Well, okay then. That was uneventful. I already have a version of the deck with Airship. We played it like 3 weeks ago. Well, let's go try one more, see if we can get some resistance from an opponent. That opponent really didn't play anything. Like, they ramped up just to cease and desist. I kept thinking something else was going to happen. Hey, what was that about? Thank you so much with the raid from Caleb D. We are just chilling out here on a Christmas Eve stream. So welcome everybody from Caleb's group. Hope you have a good holiday, bro. Hear me out. Standard is strong enough for Mayhem Devil to be reprinted. I don't know about that. that is a bold statement. I don't know if that's true. But standard is very strong. That much I do agree with. Fuzz Nuts, how's it going? Those are some really cute emojis, actually. Yeah, I think we just play this to start setting up things for later. And I'm assuming we're going to have to use these to pick off a couple of creatures here. Because, oh, no. I was like, usually that's where a badger mole shows up. All right. I guess we're just going to Tezzeret here because our hand does... actually, I say that. We should probably... Just realizing I probably just put the passage into play there. Yeah, I'm just going to pass here, actually. What? Sacrifice the land? Oh, yeah. Okay, so they're ramping up to something. I don't know what something is. Let's just do this. More Tezzerets. Okay. There's a Phantom Train. Now we're talking. Alright, you're going to have to do something soon, opponent. And we have to select 3 things? If X is 3 or greater, yeah. I mean, they could also have an instant speed thing that kills an artifact, so that would suck. What is this land? Secret tunnel. Alright. What is the opponent setting up for here? That's the part I don't understand. Like, what's happening right now? Yeah, I'll just take the damage here. And then we'll just test the waters. I mean, they have something. I don't know what it is. Hey, you too, bro. Opponent just says nice. I don't know if this means they're going to kill our guy or if they're just impressed they're about to get hit with a giant Phantom Train. Alright, go attacking. I don't really know what the opponent's doing right now. But they obviously wanted a lot of mana. And that is concerning. That's a 10 ball. Really? Nothing? I was just being conservative, leaving the last clue around, because I was like, well, maybe they have something. Alright. I mean, we'll just use it to draw a card, I guess. Wait. What? No, the reason I didn't sack Threat, I assumed they were going to have something to get rid of the Phantom Train. I'd rather just have more attack. Because, like, I don't know. Maybe they were just going to play, like, Ugin and get rid of the train. But, yeah, so they went and ramped up twice. Got extra. They had 6, potentially 7 mana this turn and then just did nothing. Like, I don't, like, what, I don't, what's happening right now? Yeah, okay. Well, that's unfortunate. Really didn't get to see much. I kept waiting for the opponent to do something, and then they just didn't. Hey, we got a pack, though, out of that. But yeah, let me show the deck so everybody can check it out. At least see what's going on with it. I think, honestly, though, there's a lot of versions of this deck that I think are very playable, for sure. I think you just like the core combination of cards is good, right? Where you have Phantom Train, Pursuit, extruder, and weapons manufacturing. And then it's what do you want to play around it, right? It makes sense Grim Bauble for removal, picks off the early mana creatures and stuff, right? Lets you surveil. Obviously, Chandra is good. So it's like, yeah, I don't think there's anything wrong with this at all. It's a solid pile of cards. I think like we were talking about in chat, it's just like, do you want to go with different creatures? I like I said, previous versions you could play some sweepers, you could play airships. There's options if you want to go down that road and play other stuff. But yeah, I don't think there's anything wrong with this. You can probably win a lot of games with that deck, even if opponents actually have some resistance. Trying to merge your two favorite decks, removing white entirely. Yeah, I don't think the decks have to play white. I think that's something through experimentation that we realize just isn't something you have to have. Like, it's nice and you get some cool benefits, but I just don't think you have to. One, you don't have to tax your mana like that, and you create fewer draws where you would stumble, I think. All right. Turd, you're next up. I'm just gonna call you TG because I don't want to call people bad names if I don't have to. Though, if you get on my bad side, then I'll call you a turd. All right, let's export this, copy it, and let's see what this one is. This one says Waste Time Tribal. Oh my god. If this is a control deck, we are not playing this on a short Christmas Eve stream. What are we doing? Oh, yeah. We're not doing this. Like, I love you, but we're not doing this on a Christmas Eve stream. Like, I appreciate you. We're definitely not doing this. Like, just let you know, that's not what we're doing on streams. We got to play something more interactive. It's not just us sitting there. If there's nobody else, we will come back to that one. But Hackworthy is next up. A Euharis deck. We did Euharis a while ago, actually. And it was pretty fun. Oh my gosh. Architect. I love some of the people over at Architect, but man, this site it's just way too much, man. Like, every time I come back to the site, I try to click on something and images are sliding around, and like, I just want to copy a thing or click on a thing. I'm like, why? Why is this like this? One of the reasons I like Moxfield, it's clean, it's straightforward, it organizes well, gives me all the stats. You can also do like the practice draws or whatever all built in. Yeah. Let's see. Even right now, I don't. Okay, there's the export button. Export type. Arena. There we go. All right. That took a second. Yeah, Architect to me feels like we just made it flashy for the sake of being flashy, but I would love to have a super basic, non-flashy version. Wondering where you've been outside of dev streams. What do you mean? I've been on YouTube literally every day for the last 6 years. Literally every day. Sometimes multiple times a day. Longer than nights on the winter solstice. That's funny. Hiking Get Less. Sorry, I'm late to the show. I don't know if this is live. It is live. However, we are going to wait a second because I don't know how much time I'm going to have. And if we have more time, I will submit for more people to get onto the list. What are we? Oh my god. Oh yeah, this is Euharis deck, so everything's 1 or 2 mana. I will play a game with this. I feel like this is similar to the deck we already played previously on the channel. This might even actually. This is a lot of the same card. Not identical, but a lot of the same cards. Yeah, we've definitely seen this before because we played it during Spider-Man season. But I will knock out a couple of games with it anyway. At least one. How's the deck building? We're not building tonight. We are playing other people's decks tonight. Just as a fun treat. Would I be willing to play a Dimir Mill control? No. We're playing no control decks on streams. Like, they are boring for people to watch. Honest truth, we were just talking about this a second ago. The reason you don't see a lot of creators doing a bunch of control decks, unless you're just known for control, it's not good for views. It's just the games are long and boring. You get to see, even if you're doing best of one, like I've done some hardcore control decks on best of one videos, and we got to play like 3 games in a 45-minute video. You know, like that's just not exciting for people when they see the deck against different matchups and whatnot. And for the most part, most control decks are largely doing the same thing. It's not like if you were, I don't know, if you were doing something completely different or original or whatever with your control deck, I think people would be excited about it. But when it's just remove a bunch of creatures, counter a bunch of things, play a planeswalker, or kill you with milling you, like that's it's just a different variation of the same thing everybody's done. I guess we're gonna break out here. Find Brynhilder, I guess. That was not a good breakout for us. Ah, we got that anyway, huh? It's not worth attacking here. We get more value next turn. Your Canelander crew started going later on Thursdays. Fun having you when you make it. Oh, you're talking about the other thing. All right. Let's go. Damn, what do we do here? That 3/4 is a real problem. I don't want to waste anything. Ugh. Oh. What if we do this? We'll get rid of one of these lands. We can get rid of the starting town. Find another starting town. Okay, then. Play this. And no attacks? I guess if I'd have done this first... Nah, that wouldn't have done anything. I just +1 on something. Archivist. Exile an artifact or enchantment. You got it. No blocks. Not interested. Okay, we will play this. Then go ahead and take our 2 for this. Try and find something good here. Ooh, I guess I should have done this. Well, I guess it didn't matter. Yeah. Horus has double strike. We could put a +1 on that. We could put +2 on that. Though we could stack it where we put the 1 counter on here and then the 2 over. Oh my gosh. All right. Here's what we're going to do. That works. So let's target you to be bigger. And then we will discard this. Putting a counter over here. And then just saying, you figure out the rest. Yeah, I don't think I played Frantic Scapegoat in mine, for sure. I mean, the good news is, we probably are just losing... Oh, I was going to say just losing Inti here, but nope. They're just going to take 8. That's interesting. And there's a Ritual Chamber. Yeah, I think this is where we start to lose, but still have a shot. I'm just going to take those. Go to 8. Oh, no, that's not even a thing yet. Oh, we drew a Yuharis. I was hoping we get something else that we could last ride, maybe, and then do something with Yuharis, but that... So I guess we could... I can't get enough in. They could attack for way more than enough to kill us here. So I'm wondering if we do this for 3, goes to 5, then we could do it again to make it 8. We can only do 9, 10? Ah, that's tough. All right, here's what we do then. Yeah, I don't think we have a real option here. So we make that 7. Man, we can make it 10? Oh, why did we not have another creature? I mean, you just block with the 1/1 here, right? Unless you're worried about trample. Oh. Okay. That's sweet. Wasn't expecting to get that bonus out of that. Well, then I guess we'll go ahead and do this and then hit them for 10. Because that's the most we're going to get. Oh, target you. All right. Do we die? There's a lot of ways we die here. I mean, we could die to 52 different cards right now. Good news is we could draw another wild ride and still win, I think. Because we could play Euharis, wild ride, tap Euharis and a land to play the other wild ride. And that would do it. All right, they're going to gain life. Going to 4. Okay, they'll go to 2 at the end of turn. Man, having this other Euharis in hand is so bad. Oh no! Triple. Oh. That was the actual worst. Oh, that sucked. Yeah. Yeah. All right, I guess we just pass. That's tough. And they're not losing life because they didn't unlock the other room. They just unlocked the demon side. All right, cool. You got us. GG's. You don't even have to do anything else, opponent. You got it. But yeah, we've already seen Euharis. We played it on the channel. It was really good. Let me see if I could find the version we played. Give me a quick second. I'll see if I can find the link. It was from a little while back, though. Like I said, it was during Spider-Man season, toward the end, if I remember right. I had a really cool thumbnail on that one, too, with, like, big Spider-Man 2099 on it. Yeah, it was this one. All right. Let me copy that link. And we will put that in the chat for everybody. So, yeah, if you want to see the other list we played, it's this one. I would just do this. It was clean, fast, hit really hard. It was highly consistent. I would just do that. You never even used Breakout until you made that deck. Breakout's really good in the the Gruul deck that we put up today. And also very good just in Gruul Delirium as a whole. Like, it shows up in a lot of, or any of those fast decks that want to play the Symbiote plus, you know, other, like, Fear of Missing Out, stuff like that. Like, it's good in all those types of decks, for sure. Definitely not going to hate on it. It's a very good card. Next up, we have Loft Tech for now, and I think this is our last one for the moment. I'll have to get a time check here. We might be able to do 1 or 2 more. We'll see. All right, let's get back over here. But yeah, thanks for everybody for hanging out on this wonderful evening. Depending on where you are, it may not be wonderful. Like, we've had a lot of floods up in Washington State. Like, some places are getting crazy snow, so it may not be too wonderful depending on where you live. If you are dealing with that, I hope it's okay for you. All right, let's load this one up, see what we got. It says Tiny Whiteys. I'm assuming this is just a white aggro pile. Okay. Sure. All right. All right. I'll give it a go. I feel like I was working on a mono white aggro deck that was small creatures, but definitely looked different than this. Ophidian, Merry Christmas to you, friend. Or, you know, Happy Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, Christmas Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, I think is how the commercial went. Whatever it is you celebrate. This I am probably not keeping. This feels at least a little bit... Well, this isn't much better, actually. I guess we just scrap that. I'll be honest, though. I've worked on a couple other things, and they're like white flash decks that also could take advantage of Airbender Ascension and things like that, and they just feel better. A Duress incoming? An opposing Momo. And a Deep Cavern Bat. Well, that's unfortunate. Alright. Yeah, this is going to be a rough turn. Yeah, makes sense. It's like, wasn't sure what you were going to take, but that made sense. Oh, okay, now this is interesting. Do we wait and just flash in the Kieran? I think we do. Because they don't know we have the Kieran yet. So that's at least an option of a play. I mean, they're probably going, well, why didn't you use the Starfield Shepherd? Obviously, you have something else that I don't know about. Hey, check it out. Old school Vampire Nighthawk. Welcome, dude. I always appreciate some of the old school cards showing back up. Much I want to get rid of Momo. I just want to block this. Oh, well, that's cute. Pass the turn. So this is black-white flyers, not even bats. You just went in deep to play all the good flyers. I'm going to assume their hand is removal, though, because they look like they checked to see how much it costs to activate the fortress. Oh, no. What the hell is this guy? I forgot this was in Foundations. I'm going to die to this. I'm glad I have to get lost in hand. Oh, my God. When it dies, return another non-bear creature with mana value less than or equal to its power from your graveyard. This is the most ridiculous card to play, but it's so good right now. That's amazing. And it returns it to the battlefield. How gross. I can't even be mad at that. Like, that's awesome. I guess we just do this for now? I don't know. I'm probably supposed to use the Starfield Shepherd and leave mana up for Get Lost. Ooh, I think this is... I would only play this as Revenant's number 5, 6, and 7. I don't think I would play it on its own. Like, if you have a choice, like, you just play the Revenant, right? Like, it's just better. Kind of tough. I was hoping to at least get one instance of life gain off that, but that's pretty brutal. So, what are we doing here? We're at 12. We know they're going to get that. We probably have to kill it. Oh, this is bad for a lot of reasons. For so many reasons. Because here's the problem. If we don't get, like, no matter what, they're getting this back. Actually, maybe not. Maybe they get Nighthawk. Man. All right. I guess I got to do this. This is the brutal part of this whole thing, though. Is that this still isn't great because at some point I need to block this panda that's going to likely return either Zoraline or one of these knuckleheads. Oh, this is bad. This is bad. I mean, we have our own Momo. Wait, we're playing a full set of both well, almost a full set of both Momo. That feels not right. Ugh. I guess I'm going to take this. Because I like the abilities on that more so here. And then we just pass. I mean, Momo's going to be a 3-3, unfortunately. So I don't even have a good chump block here. Maybe. I mean, maybe they were out of other Zora lines. Or maybe they're playing a full set of 4 and like 2 pandas. Okay. I don't hate that. Okay. I mean, we're still going to kill Zoraline because that's the right thing to do here. Sure. Yeah, that thing gets bigger. It's going to be a future problem. No blocks, I don't think. Not here. All right, let's get rid of this. Of course, we go to 8. Oh, that's not what we wanted to see. Dang it. All right. Well, we kind of got to start doing some things here. Oh, that hurts. All right. This is probably where they play some creature kill spells. Nope, they're just returning stuff from the graveyard that's going to drain our life totals. Not good. Yep, yep. You got it. Which also grows Momo again. Attack with... I was going to say, attack with your 5/4, because even if I double block to kill it, you get Zoraline back. Yeah, okay. I guess we block. Get to scry. That's the whole reason we did it in the first place. No! Man, I almost have to take the Momo, though, really, to guarantee I have something. And we do at least get to see another card here first, so maybe we don't play Starfield Shepherd. Get another Shepherd. Nah, we'll just play the other one. Get the other Momo. Yeah, there's just too many Momos in this list, and we don't even have that many flyers to take advantage of it. I mean, we go ahead and play it here, because, you know, what else are we doing? But, yeah, no attacks. Now we just need, like, a shelter or something before we die. Because we're about to reach the point where we can't even chump block without dying. Wow. All right. Well, we'll get rid of the value Momo. To scry again. Though food isn't a bad option here. Okay, these might do a little something in this order. Because we can play one, draw, return like Momo, maybe. Play this, get 2 lifelink. All right, if we're not dead. I mean, we get to gain 2 life chump blocking at least. So there is that. Yeah, I don't know how we're getting out of this. If we're getting out of this. Because again, the problem here is we are priced into blocking because of the Blood Witch. Oh my gosh, now whatever we kill, they're going to get something back next turn anyway. Oh, that's so bad. Alright, so let's at least block here. We're going to lose 1, gain 2. So total... We do this, do this, do this. So we lose 4. 5, 6, 7. Gain 2. So we're at... Huh. So we'll just be at 3? No, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Only 6 things die. Alright. What was that about? Opponent giving the GGs already. play this, return this, then I can play this and have a bunch of lifelinkers? No, I can't actually. I won't have enough because this costs 3. Maybe I return nothing. No, maybe we'll just return this and then just play these 2. Yeah, what am I doing? Alright. If you've cast another spell this turn, we most definitely have. Oh, actually, I did that wrong. If I play this first, because it's a new instance of the card, I would have got another card in hand here. Ah, that sucked. That was a bad idea. Oh, well, I'm blocking with the other things anyway here. But I definitely cost myself a card. I will say this, though. If we can somehow not be dead, we will be able to gain life by putting counters on things with the Abandoned Air Temple. Block? Okay, yeah, I'm not sure why they didn't just play Zoraline. That feels like a much better play for them. Okay, we're still in this, though. So let's do this. Let's get a value Momo. Because I think... actually, is this a situation where we want a Pixie? Maybe. I think I do want a Pixie here. So that we can play this, pick this up again, have another lifelinker. Hey, there we go. Never mind. We got better options. Hell yeah. Get in there, flying team. There we go. All right. Oh my gosh, that felt like it took forever to get to something. That was way too much math for blockers type scenarios. Hey, Bill and Tony. Merry Christmas to you as well. Also, I missed whatever happened. I heard a notification. But whatever that was, I want you to know you were not ignored completely. I was too busy trying to figure out what to do on that turn. Opponent has 2 flyers. Oh, well, not anymore. All right, cool. Didn't matter. Whoo. Man, that was tough. Yeah, I don't know. It feels like a lot of Momos in this deck. For one that I don't think the deck's bad, realistically. But I don't know. I think there's more options. Like, I'm also surprised there's not like the bird that puts stuff into whatever called plot or whatever as a safety net counter spell. Probably even more copies of this, especially if you're trying to play so many 1/1s anyway. Just playing like one of your Momos and then this on 2, and then start making tokens so you can eventually unlock the room is an option. I think I would probably play more Enduring Innocence. Because really, right now, it has Pixies and Kirans, but there's not a lot you really need to be returning. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you could reset a shelter, or I guess if there's something else you want with the Seam Rip instead. But this doesn't really have, like, things you need to be returning to your hand. Even at the end, I was just, like, returning to replay Enduring Innocence just to have another lifelink blocker. But I wasn't really advancing the board other than maybe potentially not dying, you know? So I think if you're going to play this bounce effect stuff, you should have more things to take advantage of it. Like, what are your ETB things? Because right now, like, I guess we could bounce a Starfield Shepherd to go find a Momo, but if your other ones are still in play, they're legendary, so that doesn't really help, right? Yeah. Actually, what's funny is I kind of like all the parts that weren't the bounce spells, as it turns out. Because we just didn't have anything worth bouncing, right? I don't really want to bounce the shops. I don't want to really bounce any of the. I mean, I guess technically maybe this is okay. So you could bounce it and then just replay that. So that's kind of cool. I guess. It's not exciting, but it does a thing. But that's probably it, really. So yeah, I don't know. Yeah, that's what I'm saying though. But if we're just bouncing Starfield Shepherd to like, I don't know, find a nurturing pixie, that doesn't feel like the most exciting thing to be doing. It's not bad. I just feel like if we're gonna play this package of stuff, there's got to be something better we could be doing. But yeah, overall, still playable. Would I play it? Yeah. Like that's kind of it at the end of the day. Like, would I still play that? Yeah, it's playable. It'll probably win a fair amount of games. That's it at the end of the day, right? Because I always tell people it doesn't matter if it's what I like, it's what you like, right? Because it's your deck, you're the one playing it, obviously. So as long as it's what you like and it can still win, then hell, go with it. And I tell people this all the time, right? Because we all, as creators, we make videos. Everybody looks at them and then you should play this card and you should do this. I'm always telling people like, yeah, sure, go ahead, play it. My decks aren't the gospel. If there's a card you want to play, go for it, right? I just play the stuff I like and what works for me. And other people are going to enjoy completely other cards. Like we talked about it before in the Discord. Catastrophe really loves Tezzeret. I have like the worst luck playing Tezzeret. But it doesn't mean you shouldn't ever play Tezzeret. You know what I mean? Like if you like the card and you're winning with it, keep playing it. Yeah, the Anthem ships are good. You know, there's a reason the blue-white Flyers decks like playing blue because you get the extra bonuses from the bird and the enchantment that give +1/+1s to Flyers. Like, there's a bunch of things you could do if you want to go other ways. The 5/7 Flyer, that's true. There's also the if you're staying in white, yes. If you add blue, it opens up some other options. Yeah, there was definitely. I agree with the Catastrophe. It was a long game from a deck that didn't look like it was going to play a long game. Yeah, there's just. I've talked about. I think I mentioned it in another upcoming video too. The number of times people want to yell or type the GGs or the your go or whatever, and then lose, and it happens to me almost daily. I won't say daily, but multiple times a week. And it's always just like I think here's the thing. If you do it and you're wrong, other than just looking like a jerk, you look like an idiot because it then also says that in a way, you weren't smart enough to be aware that there were still multiple ways you could lose. You know what I mean? Like that's basically what you're saying when you fire it early and then it's not there and then you end up losing. Say it preemptively because I think I'm going to lose a lot. I wonder if it's misinterpreted. Probably. I mean, if I say GG's, I'm usually doing it during the attack step where I'm dying, or I'm just giving the GG's and then I'll concede and move on. Right? Rarely am I ever going to say GG and then pass a turn and let you take a whole turn. Right? That's weird. Because then it just feels like I'm setting them up of like, okay, now what? You know? So that's normally what I don't do. Raise the pass. Does this deck need a raise the pass? I don't think the deck really needs a raise the pass. I think you're fine. Hey, new follower. Thank you. Or you're getting bad cards and you know. Yeah, that's true. Shane says, I kind of good game prematurely to lose in the game and then honestly win it. That's what I'm saying, right? And then because I've done that before. I've been on stream and done it before. And I feel bad because I'm like, all right, GG's opponent, you win. And then while I'm talking to chat, I draw the card that like, oh, I forgot I could draw this and win. And now I feel like a jerk because I gave the GG's on their last turn and now I'm about to win. And I was like, now you just look like I'm the jerk. So I try just not to do it at all until literally right as I'm losing. You know, or if they're giving the GG's, obviously knowing they can't win and are passing the turn, and then I give the GG's back, right? But even in person, I do the same thing, right? If I'm losing, I give the GG's as I'm about to scoop up my cards and extend the hand. If the opponent doesn't give the GG at all, then I just say, man, tough break, good luck next round, move on, right? And then there's sometimes, too, where, like, one of you got mana screwed or something, or somebody just got mana flooded and it really wasn't much of a game, like I'm not going to give the GG to that either. I'll give an honest statement of like, man, it sucks. I've been in your shoes before, right? Or wish we could have had a better third game or whatever. But I'm not going to give the GGs if it wasn't, because that also feels I get it. You're trying to be a customary good sport or whatever, but it also feels disingenuous when the game isn't good. Let's see. Livewired says, I definitely GG wrong. Sometimes I GG opponents when I'm confident my opponent is going to win. I've done that before too, where I thought they could kill me and then they couldn't. That's one of the reasons I quit trying to do it. My favorite is when I GG when I'm dead on board and they concede. I've seen that happen a time or two. I've even had it happen for me, which is weird, because I was already on my way to hit the concede button and they conceded before I did, which is amusing. Bob says, yeah, I've done that. Of course, I wish there was a sarcastic GG emote so I could not worry about getting GG. You know what one really, while it's sarcastic, but kind of works, is when you see somebody just getting land screwed and the Sokka voice of, what does he say? Like, oh, it's tough luck, buddy, or whatever. That one, I kind of get, and it kind of works without being jerkish. So it's kind of cool. Yeah, lands am I right? People use that one. I like lands am I right when we're both getting land flooded, because then it's kind of funny. If it's like we're on turn 10 and we've both drawn like 10 or 11 lands and, we both are just fetching lands or whatever, like that's kind of funny at that point. Yeah, I generally, the emote I use multiple times a day is just a thinking emote. And that's usually because I'm making content. So part of the time I'm talking or trying to explain a thing. And I want my opponent to know that, like, hey, your opponent didn't disconnect or anything. I'm still here. I'm just doing some stuff. Right. So that's Rough Buddy. That's the one. Right. But that's the one I use. I don't really use any of the, actually, honestly, I don't even know. I'm going to look right now with y'all. I don't even know what emotes I have available. Oh, apparently I have quite a few. And little emoji guys. Yeah, I've never put any of these on my account. like I for real did, up until, I'm not even going to lie to y'all. I think I'm being 100% honest when I say this. This is the first time I've even looked at this screen. Like, y'all are looking at this at the same time I am. I've 100% do not believe I've even hit that button to get to this screen ever. Like, real talk, I actually thought I had more of the stickers in here. Like, I've never looked at this screen. I don't even think, I'm trying to be honest here. Like, I don't think I've even seen this screen on anybody else's stream or YouTube video or whatever. Like, I don't even think I know what this screen looked like until right now. Like, that's how little I care about emotes. And I'm not saying they're bad. Like, obviously, some people enjoy them. They're fun. But I'm one of the people that, unless I'm playing a game specifically with friends, I don't even care about communication at all in my games. I've reached that point in my gaming life. Like honestly, I think I've told this story before, but this is totally true. What was the mech game that was on Xbox? Titanfall. I waited to play it for a long time, ended up having a friend who was getting rid of his Xbox and he had the Titanfall edition or whatever. So I was like, great, I'll just buy yours. So I'm all excited. I get home. I go through the tutorial twice on Titanfall. Like, I'm super jacked, making sure I have the controls down. I'm like, oh, this is going to be great. And then when I found out there was no single player offline mode, literally never played a game of Titanfall. Like, the fact that I was going to have to get online and deal with other knuckleheads or whatever to enjoy the game, I was already out. Like, didn't want to deal with the hassle, the racist rants, whatever. Like, I was just done. So, as excited as I was, that alone, never played a game of Titanfall. Like, even, again, spent like, because it was a long tutorial mode in that game. I think I spent like an hour and a half to an hour and 45 minutes just going through the tutorial, doubling up on the controls, making sure everything was good. Never played it. Yeah, never played the game too, even though it looks sweet. But, League of Legends, I haven't played. I quit playing that. Oh, hell, it feels like a decade ago at this point. I play Teamfight Tactics because I still like the property. I still like the characters, but I just didn't like literally every other game I got done. I really I could do it every game, but just about every other game, I was having to report somebody for something, and I was like, I don't even want to mess with this anymore. So I just quit. Literally, last time I logged in, I'm pretty sure I downloaded it, logged in because there was a sweet Sivir skin where like she throws up her boomerang or whatever, and it rains down snow on her. And I was like, oh, I play that character a lot. I'll go get it just in case for some reason I ever come back or play with friends. I have that in my account. So I gave them their like whatever it was, $8 or whatever, and then that's it. That was literally the last time I loaded up that game. Oh no, people had mics on Arena. I would instantly mute every opponent. 100%. Like, go look at anybody who ever makes posts about Magic Online and just look at the thread of conversation they have. It's always something stupid. Like, I don't need that in my life. Just won a game with an opponent giving me the GG. They attacked, but they lost because of a combat trick. Yeah, exactly. That's my thing, right? That happens so often. Like, and I'm not even joking. That happens to me almost every other day on Arena. Like, so many people do that. And I don't know why. Like, it makes them look really silly. Yeah, mics would suck. We're not stupid, though. We're different. Yeah. I get why some people would want microphones, but this is what I tell people. If you're playing with people you like, you can load into Discord and then just play Arena, and you can still just talk to each other. Right? I just don't need it from everybody else. Gamers will be toxic more than friendly. Arena doesn't need mic. I think it depends in some ways. Here's an interesting thing. And this is something I've seen pretty much across the board. And I'm not going to say it's absolute because there's always outliers. Like, and we all know some of the outliers. But generally speaking, the best players, and I would say this even applies to like pro sports, they are less likely to be negative towards you because they don't have anything to prove. Like, they know their station in life or their status within their job, within their game, whatever, is solid, right? So you're going to run into that less. It's usually the people that are the tryhards, that think they're better than they are, you know, whatever. Like, those are the people that are generally the assholes. Like, totally. Like, and you see that so often. That's just kind of the way it is. And again, they're trying to prove something. They're trying to make themselves better than somebody else. Like, they're putting so much self-worth into the game, so they feel the need to defend it, like all this stuff. Right? But at the top, a lot of those people don't care. Like, at one point, this is like deep diving old school Power Dragon. I remember, and I think I've told this story before. I remember when I made top 100 on Madden for the first time. I was like 73rd or 74th, something like that. And I was super excited. And one of the first guys I played, so funny. He literally, like, he was super chill and whatever. And he just goes, man, do you mind if I smoke one? And I'm like, what? Like, yeah, if I light up while we're playing. And I'm like, bro, you're in like Cleveland. I wouldn't even have known. But that's how chill some of the players were. Even the second guy I played, which made me realize I was never going to be great at Madden, is he was like top 20. I think he was 17th. And he just boat raced me. I think the final score was like 35-7 or something. Like, I wasn't even close. I was excited to score the one touchdown. And even he was super chill. He's like, man, you know, I was telling him like, man, this is the first time I played somebody else in the top 100 or whatever. And he was like, dude, it's tough up here. And, you know, he was talking me through stuff or whatever. Real chill guy while he whooped my ass. But like, super nice guy, you know. But I also at that point quit trying to be top level player at Madden because I knew I wasn't going to be. The amount of time it was going to take there was still such a huge gulf between being just inside the 100 and being in the top 20. And having that realization of like, man, I'm going to have to put in like 3 times as much effort as I do now to be like those other dudes. So I knew I wasn't. So I haven't played competitive Madden in a long time. I'd probably be super terrible at it now. You hate people that take forever and use timeouts. Here's the thing. I don't mind it if it results in an action being taken. And what I mean by that is like if somebody's thinking a long time, but they're actually doing something, then like I'm okay with it. I have a problem when we're using almost the entire rope and then you take an action and just like play a Llanowar Elf pass. And then I'm like, okay, I play something, then we use almost the whole rope, and then it's pass, your turn, right? Like, and when we're doing that for every action, then I have a problem with it. But if we're in like the middle of the game and there's 2 or 3 things on the board that could trigger or somebody's life total's at risk, like I get it. I've used the rope legitly 2 or 3 times. Y'all have seen it in videos where I'm like talking to you about, well, I could do this and I could do that, but if my opponent has this card, I want to do this thing. And okay, let me at least activate this first, see what card I get. Okay, well, let's think about this card now because that changes a thing, right? So if somebody uses their ropes for that, I totally get it, right? That's 100%. I only have a problem when you're just doing it constantly because then it's just silly. And to be honest, if I'm recording something, I have a double nuisance because now I have all this like dead space I have to edit out and do all this stuff, and you're just making life hard for no reason. Wouldn't hate mics as long as the default is they're disabled. I largely agree with that. The problem I have is that there would be times that people would probably open the mics and then forget that they had left that option on, and then we'd see a bunch of stories of things being reported of people being jerks and blah, 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 blah. Right? That's the thing. Oh, I have something fun to share with y'all. So, and I think I talked about this in the Discord. By the way, Discord, if anybody wants to join, you're welcome to come hang out in the Discord. It's free. But I've been talking about for a while that I've been trying to get a hold of the proper people at Wizards on the Arena team, because I wanted to do a video where I basically get to ask all the important questions, right? Basically, all the stuff that people make up as rumors that aren't true. Like, Wizards has special functions, so creator accounts draw better than regular accounts, or Arena's set up where you can't win more than 5 times in a row, or whatever, right? There's all these dumb things people believe. And I actually got people on the Arena team to agree to answer a bunch of those questions. So we've been going back and forth. Obviously, the holidays are happening, so we can't do this till at least January because they're not even in the office. But sometime in January, we're going to get to sit down. We're debating how we're going to do it, if it's going to be online or I drive to Watsy's office because I'm not too far away from there, and we do like a live interview thing, whatever, but we're going to figure that out. But the idea is to do a video of debunking Arena's myths. Here's 20 questions to the Arena team, right? And even stuff about like, how does the auto tapper prioritize what it wants to tap, right? Like, so everybody can understand that, right? Just a bunch of little things that I think would be cool to have that out there in the public as a video. And I think that would be really fun. And got to talk to them. They agreed. They think it would be fun. And we just got to figure out the format for it. But it'd be me sitting down, asking them questions, and then, putting together in a fun presentation. Shane says, I kind of do believe the matchmaker algorithm pits you against better decks. Well, that's the thing, right? If you're winning more, you play more people that are winning at that time. That's not making it where you can't win. That just means you're progressively going to play tougher opponents, which is what a matchmaker should do in any game, right? You look for people of similar rank, and then you look for people of similar success, and then you pair those people up, right? That's what it should do. That's easy. The auto tapper prioritizes the dumbest way possible so my birds of paradise can remain untapped and attack. But it's weird. We had one. Maybe it's in a video. Maybe it's on the Christmas Day video. No, I think it's on Saturday's video. Oh, by the way, I have a fun Mardu deck that plays Sozin and Planeswalkers on Saturday. Y'all should check that out. But yeah, by the way, if all of you are subscribed or not subscribed, you should do that. I've literally put stuff on YouTube every single day. When we get to March, it'll be 6 years, by the way. Literally every day. So there's tons of content, tons of stuff. And we cover all types of different things. Do mostly standard videos on the daily, but we do a lot of other videos as well. Also, if you want some strategy videos on deck building and stuff, we did a 4 video series that is up right now that you can see on the channel, and lots of stuff about figuring out percentages of mana and how you build for multicolor decks and all kinds of stuff like that. So you should check those out too, if you want those. Let's see. Pocket says, that sounds like a fun feature. People will always fall prey to confirmation bias, but having more factual. Yeah, and that was kind of the whole thing of, right, Because if you're new to Arena and you hear somebody say like, well, Arena's rigged where you can't win more than 5 games in a row, or they max out the number of times you can win so you'll buy more packs and then try to win more, which is so dumb because if you could just never win, you're not just gonna buy more packs to win, you'll just quit playing. Right? Like that's every game like that's ever existed. It would be more logical that as they're doing, you get paired up with other people that are also losing or not doing as well, so eventually you get a win. And then you now feel encouraged to play more. Not, well, we're going to make sure this person doesn't win 10 times in a row, and then they'll just buy more packs, and then they'll start winning. That's not a real strategy. That's not how humans work. Like, it's just not. Additive Tapper never wants to spend my life, and I use manually land tapping with pain lands all the time. Yeah, that's a real thing. It does over-prioritize life total. That's true. Judge John says, I play Boomy Unleashed in Brawl, and the amount of times I trusted the auto tapper to be smart only to tap all my lands and leave my birds untapped. Yeah, I could see that happening. Earthbending really does make things a little weird too, because the thing we have to remember about auto tapper is it's not designed to play the game, right? Even if auto tapper or Arena as a whole had a built-in AI function and it learned how you do stuff or whatever, it's never going to know exactly what you want to do, right? And that's one of the things that makes Magic a hard game, which is why people always say, like, why hasn't Wizards made this thing that I could just play against an AI or whatever? Like, it's so difficult because there's times, especially with Earthbending, right? I might want to leave a blocker up. I might want to tap that for extra mana. I might want it to die so it comes back on the battlefield and triggers a landfall thing. Right? There's so many reasons I might want to use it for mana or not use it for mana. And to expect the machine to just know that doesn't make sense, right? So all they can do is say, if lands get tapped, do A first. If A doesn't exist, go to B. If B exists, go to C. If A and B exist, then ignore D, go to, whatever, right? If there's treasure you can use, prioritize that. If there's this thing, right? Like, that's all they can do. And then we as players, if we at least know that, we can say, okay, I don't have any of these in play. I know it's going to tap correctly. I can turn my brain off or whatever, right? But if I know it's prioritizing, like we've been talking about, life total over something else, then I need to know, okay, I have to manually tap so this does what I want it to do. Ever since Painlands left, I feel safer with Auto Tapper. That's legit, though. Only thing that gets me to play more is getting gold every win, not being capped daily. Yeah, that's fair. Let's see. I turn Auto Tapper off in the settings. It'll still suggest land combinations to tap. Hey, thanks for subscribing there, Steven. Casting a spell, but you need to confirm it, like whenever you cast a spell with Painlands. Yeah, I leave Auto Tapper on just because I'm doing so much, and when I'm recording videos especially, like, it's one less thing, and it's fewer clicks, and it does make games flow better and faster. So, time being a thing and presentation being a thing, I'm fine with Auto Tapper being on. And to be honest, if it occasionally catches me and I know better, it's a fun content moment, right? Where I'm like, oh, Auto Tapper wrecked me, I'm gonna lose now, whatever. And that's fun. Like, I'm rarely like super mad at the Auto Tapper, right? Like, realistically, what does one loss really mean on the arena ladder on any given day? Nothing, truthfully. So being upset over it doesn't really matter. Livewire says, I usually go on a win streak after a bad losing streak. Arena just has a tough time with my MMR because I try a bunch of decks that take a while to get used to playing some. I don't think it's that. Like, when you're on the ranked ladder, and we'll talk about this in the interview for sure, but we're in the ranked ladder, the MMR only really cares about, my understanding from everybody I've talked to previously, is it really just looks for rank and win streaks or whatever. It doesn't really care about what's in your deck or anything like that. If you're playing on the play queue, it takes into consideration a bunch of different things, because there it's trying to pair up the most likely games to be reasonably competitive, right? So if I have a long account with a deep collection and I'm playing a deck that's full of all the best cards, it's not going to want to pair me up against somebody playing their like squirrel deck or whatever, right? Because it's just not going to match up well. So it figures in a bunch of different things there. But if you're just playing on the ranked ladder, it's really just ranking wins and losses for the most part. Again, I might be told differently, but the last I talked to somebody there, that's what I was told. But I'll get it on the record so people at least have it in the video, and then we'll know. But I think a lot of it is, and this is going to sound bad, but this is true, and this is across all the gaming I've ever experienced. Most players are going to have confirmation bias of a thing that doesn't exist because most players are significantly worse than they think they are. And that's at every game. I don't care if you play Pokemon, Magic, League of Legends, Call of Duty, whatever. The average player is way worse than they think they are. And that's so true. Like, honestly, I even feel like had I not played Magic for as long as I have and had, like, I know the process to get to the top because I've been lucky enough to play on a couple of pro tours. I got to play in nationals. Like, don't have anything great to show for it, but I understand what it takes to get there, right? And I know the state I was in when, physical state, mental state, not where I live state, but I know what it took and what I was focusing on and everything else to get there, right? So I can look right now and go, yeah, I'm definitely not the player I was then because I'm not dedicating to be a top level player. I'm dedicating to be a fun player, build quirky decks, do silly things, whatever. And that's way more entertaining to me right now, right? I'm not focusing on that. So I know I'm a worse player than I was, 15 years ago or whatever. But a lot of players don't have that level of experience in a lot of the games. So the little progress they make, they think I'm way better. Like, it's what happened to me, the story I was just telling, when in Madden, right? I'm like, I made top 100. This is the time, right? And then I play somebody who's in the top 20, and I'm like, I'm not really at that level yet. Like, you know what I mean? And for all I know, maybe I got on a win streak. I beat the right people. I ranked up, and maybe I was just running hotter than the sun for a couple of days. You know what I mean? And I got a little lucky. So that's part of it too. But when you have that moment, that's where you go like, I see, But you can always talk to a lot of players, and you see it a lot at PTQs, you see it a lot at regionals, you see it a lot at poker tournaments, where people will just be results oriented and say like, my opponent just got lucky. A guy just drew a 2-outer on me, whatever. They don't look at the process of, well, what happened on the 2 or 3 turns before? Did I miss a point of damage here or there? Even in poker, like, well, could I have bet less to maybe do this thing, or could I bet more on the previous street so then he doesn't get to draw that extra or whatever? It's just, my opponent got lucky, right? I did everything right. My opponent got lucky. This game sucks, right? And that's where I'm like, yeah, you rarely see top players say that. Matter of fact, this was a thing. I did this. Oh man, this was a while ago. But I did a thing where I walked around. Oh gosh, was this like Grand Prix Baltimore? Maybe. It's a long time ago. This is early 2000s. I decided I was going to walk around and ask all the pros, how many perfect games of Magic do you believe you played? And I think I wrote an article about it on Pojo at the time. And every single pro top player said either 0 or 1. And the logic is there are so many micro decisions that you can still win the game, but your play didn't account for some random card that's in standard, right? So you have to define like what constitutes a perfect game. Are you accounting for every single card? Did you get every single point of life? Blah, blah, blah. And it was amazing. And I think now, like if some people have a huge library of games, right? They've probably played a handful of them or whatever. But matter of fact, I think it was it Saito at the time when the Japanese players asked him and he said 1. And what's funny is he came back. He found me like a couple hours later and he taps me on the shoulder and he says, no, I think 0, and then left. Like he literally, it bothered him so much. He thought about it and came back and he said, I probably not played any perfect games. Right. So that tells you if people at that level believe that they played minimum less than 5, let's say, perfect games. Because, it's possible to say that like Reed Duke or Kibler, somebody who's played for 20 years, whatever, like they probably have a couple that they played perfectly, all right? But you're talking about everything from mulligans to sideboarding to whatever. Like there's a lot of decisions to make. And I think I said perfect match, not perfect game. Let me correct that. But to play a best 2 out of 3 perfectly is very difficult. But if you talk to the average player, they believe they've done it a billion times, right? They believe it. Every single time they win, it was great. And when they lost, their opponent just got lucky or they got super unlucky or whatever, right? That's the difference between top players and the rest of us at every single thing, right? Like, they are practicing the most nuanced thing. They're thinking about things differently, whatever. And that's why they're good. What it does, again, doesn't matter what game you play. That's why they're at the top levels and the rest of us aren't. And that's fine, right? Like, we can still enjoy the games, but we need to put less stress on ourselves and just understand that there's sometimes you're going to win and lose and you're just not going to be able to do much about it because either you're not skilled enough, your opponent did actually get lucky or whatever. And that's okay, right? I think we just have to be all right with that. Because hell, there's times I think it happens in a video y'all are going to see in a day or two. I'm pretty sure one of my post-game statements was like, well, I did this, but I don't even know if that was the better play because I could have done this and my opponent might have had this other card. Like, I still won, but I'm still sitting there going like, I don't even know if I made the right play. It just worked out. You know what I mean? Like, and that's the nature of Magic sometimes. And what's funny is, here's the real funny part. You might have won feeling good that you did everything right, and your opponent's walking around believing that you just got lucky. You know what I mean? Like, it's like, that's the mentality of a lot of average players. So like, one person's walking around thinking they're a genius. The other person's walking around thinking they're just a luck box, right? It just doesn't matter. It's so silly. Talking about AI, I think WotC should invest in Alpha Zero type game engine to playtest new sets, having a 3-year standard. I don't even think that's it. Truthfully, I don't know if that would even be worth it. I get what you're saying and why, but I mean, you're talking about you'd have to simulate a billion different things, and you'd have to assume all the simulations accounted for every proper card being played correctly and every combination of stuff. And then you're going to go back and based on the simulations, you would change text on some cards or how they function. And then now you have to run simulations. Like, the problem is Magic is just a difficult game, right? There's been multiple videos that have said Magic's one of the most complicated games ever created because there's so many, even in standard, we have a couple thousand game pieces or whatever available. A million things can happen there. And hell, we're going to add another, 300 3 times, 150 one time, and at least another 300 another time. So we're going to add at least another 1,500 cards next year. Actually, more than that. We're going to add almost another 2,000 cards next year to standard. Yeah, probably close to it. Maybe around 1,800. So that's even more you'd have to consider, right? Like, there's too many ways. And like we were just talking about, like, to expect a program to play every single game correctly, it's just not likely to happen. I mean, we're not there yet. Hey, a new follower, thanks. Like, it's possible we could get there. AI is very advanced right now, but I don't know if that solves the problem. And again, humans are also not going to function like anything programmed, right? So what happens is if a deck does well in a Magic Online event or wins a regional championship somewhere, then a bunch of the community is just going to start playing it. Even if it's not the best deck or maybe even not the most advanced version of that deck, it's what everybody knows, so a bunch of people are going to start playing it, and the metagame heads that way. I'll guarantee you there's times where R&D has found stronger decks than the community has, or even went a different way with the meta, and then it gets in front of a million people, and then we just go a whole different direction. And we know this is possible because once upon a time, we used to get Friday Night Magic promos that R&D tried to select commons and uncommons that people were going to play with based on what they found in their testing metas. But then those cards ended up being complete junk and nobody ever played them. Right? So it's such a weird thing how an internalized meta looks way different than, actual human-driven emotional meta, right? So that's a whole thing. And that's why when I was there at Wizards, we got away from doing that with promo cards, and that's a whole thing. But, yeah. Let's see, to be an actual 1% player consistently is so very hard. It's way more than getting a good streak on it. Oh, yeah. Like, getting Mythic doesn't mean you're a top player at all. Like, I hit Mythic regularly, and that I know better than that. I'll even say this, though. One of the things we have as Magic players that's really good, and we were talking about this off camera on coverage the other day, is that we have opportunities to win a lot of prizes and a lot of money, whatever, in Magic, right? Between RCQs, regional championships, arena opens, arena directs, like regular cash tournaments going on with different organizations, like you name it, right? Whereas if you played something like League of Legends or Counter-Strike or whatever, you have to get into that like 0.1% of players to even be able to compete at the top level. And that's why when people look and say like, man, it sucks that, I don't know, let's just use League of Legends, they have $1 million tournament and blah, blah, blah. And we're only giving away $500,000 or whatever. It's like, yeah, sort of for that one tournament, but we also have 4 major tournaments a year. Plus there's tournaments running every day on MTG Melee. Well, now it's just melee.gg or whatever, right? Then there's all the arena opens where everybody's winning money and blah, blah, blah. So like you have access to prizes pretty much multiple times a month as a Magic player. So instead of the money just being funneled to the top, it's spread throughout the community, which is great. But I think people just look and see, oh, well, hell, we just did the Arena Championships, Arena Championship 10 last weekend. There was $250,000 given away. First prize was like $15K. That's not even a Pro Tour. That qualifies you for the Pro Tour and for the World Championships. You know what I mean? Like, and people were literally playing from their bedroom. You can't do that with other games. Like, we are so lucky as Magic players. We just overlook a lot of that. It's true. I can hit the top 500 each month, but I haven't qualified for the Pro Tour. It's way harder. Oh, it's absolutely harder than people think it is. For sure. I don't know if I'd say it's even harder than to be on the Pro Tour, but it's definitely damn hard. Game is all RNG. Game decides who wins from the draw. That I disagree with. Hell, matter of fact, I have an elf deck that's going to come up on Friday, and I think I was on the draw for all but maybe 2 or 3 of the games, it felt like. And I won a bunch of them on the draw even. So you can't say that the game decides. I think if you believe the game decides, you should go watch all the footage from the past Arena Championships and look at the top players playing. And some of those players are, like, even this past Arena Championship, we had Pro Tour winners, we had World Champions, we had all national champions, whatever. There was a murderer's row of players that qualified for that tournament. And the plays they made were so good in so many situations. Like, you will see things where even as commentators, we're like, oh, that's an interesting play. And we're like, oh, he's probably planning on if he draws this card, this thing happens and whatever. And you're like, mind blown, right? So to just say that, like, Arena decides, I don't think that's totally true. Like, sometimes does it? If your opponent gets, like, the nut draw and you get a slow draw or whatever, like, yeah, sure, it can happen, but that's just Magic. But just to say that the game decides, I think is to me, that's just a cop-out. Right? Because if you feel that way, you probably shouldn't be playing it. You know what I mean? Like, investing money or time into a thing that you feel that you have zero control over, right? Like, there's no reason to play it. There's generally not. Like, if you believe that, I don't know why you would continue to play in a game. Right? Because if I have no agency over the game, then, like, what's the point of me even building fun decks and doing all this stuff or whatever? Right? That just wouldn't make sense. Judge says, I always remind people, most Magic players will be lucky to occasionally win F&M, and that's okay. Yeah, sure. And that's the other thing too, right? Like, as much as people say they hate the mana symbol system, I think it's actually good, because a number of times I've been at a local store and some 11 or 12-year-old kid finally gets a win against me, right? Because they look at me as being one of the end bosses or whatever, even though I'm upper mid-tier maybe, but whatever. It's a big deal for them when, maybe I got mana screwed or whatever. They got a good draw. They beat me. Awesome. They're damn near in shock, right? And I'm like, hey, man, awesome. You finally got a win. Like, finally slayed the dragon or whatever, right? And that's a big moment for them. And that makes that person's at least month, if not year. That doesn't happen in a lot of other games. Now, if we play that matchup, 100 times, I probably win 90 of them, if not more, right? But the fact that 5-ish to 10% chance or whatever can happen is awesome, right? Like, the fact that they can have them, because I think I've told people this before. I was one of the big tournament organizers at the time for Upper Deck when they were doing the Versus System trading card game. And one of the mistakes I felt like they made is they had almost all top level pros designing a game to be the most strategic game possible. And with that, I literally had players who showed up to 6 or 7 events in a row and they didn't win a game. And eventually they just quit playing. They're like, I'm not going to keep showing up to these 10Ks and trying to qualify in these qualifiers and whatever. I'm just throwing money away. And, they're building all these theme decks and doing all this stuff and copying deck lists online and whatever. Like, you don't want that, right? It's not that entertaining for the average player. It's not fun for people to play to qualify for or whatever. And it just died. I mean, I literally sat down across from people because you had to make formations, like characters behind other characters or whatever. Literally on turn 2, somebody would make a bad formation, and I'm like, oh, well, this game's over. Right? And you shouldn't have that thought. Like, I don't even know what they're playing hardly yet. I'm like, oh, yeah, this is just over. And I think that's the reason the game died, is because it didn't have that element of randomness. Like, it needs a little bit of something just so it can, I don't say balance the field, but you got to give people the hope, right? They have to win every once in a while. Like, something's got to break their way, or else they're not going to have a reason to play anymore. And again, the top players will win more than the bad players always. Nothing wrong with that. But you got to have that other element. Let's see. Every time there's money or gym sync event for wild prizes at 6 or 7 wins in arena, I notice it out because I'd personally be facing worse than Vegas odds. That's true. But you know what? Somebody can spend their, equivalent of $20 and try to high roll. Maybe they open up 3 busted rares and mythics that make their deck, and then they just go on a tear. And that's fine, right? I think it's the same thing as poker tournaments, right? When you see 6,000 people playing the World Series of Poker, if you had people like seriously assess everybody in the room, they might tell you at best 5% of the room has a real chance at winning the tournament. Or at least making it down to the final 3 tables or so, right? Now, they all are aware that because of the odds and the way cards come up and the number of people, whatever, some random will win. They've had it happen before. Like, sometimes random players win. But the reality is most of those players are just filling the coffers for the people that are going to make, like, day 5, day 6, and make $20,000, $100,000, whatever. They're just seeding the pool for everybody else. Same thing at the FNMs, right? You need a lot of people to show up to FNM, so there's decent prizes and your store stays open and all this. But most of the people showing up, they might get 1 win a year if they're lucky. No, maybe even one or they might get like 3 top 8s all year, right? That's why flat pricing works for a lot of stores. Like, hey, you at least get a booster pack because you came and played or whatever. But the more people that play, at least that extra like $1 or $2 can go toward the top prizes, and the people who make the top 8 or win can get more. But you still need to have that carrot for all those other players, right? They got to have the possibility. Yeah, I get my ass kicked by a 12-year-old kid in town every time I play him, and I'm 43. Hey, I feel you, man. Some people just have it. And you also get my opponent didn't deserve to win. That's true. Some people do feel that way. I miss 4 sets a year. I don't know. Here's the thing. Would it be nice if there were less? Sure. But also, you will hear the community complain about solved formats or whatever. Well, we haven't even figured out everything for standard, right? We still have kind of new standard decks popping up in the last week. We'll be 2 weeks from now talking about Lorwyn, and then a week or 2 after that, it's going to be out, right? So maybe that's good. Maybe it's bad. I don't know. I mean, at the end of the day, this is what I tell everybody. Like, even if I would like there to be fewer sets, I also have to accept that everybody is selling out of stuff, right? A lot of the retailers I know, their biggest gripe has been, how do I get more Magic to sell? So while it does feel bad that there's just a constant barrage of information and a lot to keep up with, because sometimes there is, I also understand the other half of it. If everybody's buying it and Wizards are selling out and making tons of money or whatever, we can't make them not make more, because right now we haven't even seen what the ceiling is for them to be able to sell. Hell, there's still saying they're printing Final Fantasy as best they can and they're still selling it. And that's now 2 sets ago. So, like, I don't know, man. Actually, what, 3 sets ago, right? Because we had, well, technically 2.5 sets if you count Spider-Man or whatever. Yeah, I disagree on the automated testing stuff still, but to each their own. 15K get you like 4 Badger moles. That's funny. Getting caught up on chat here. The World Champ Finals had some guy not part of any pro team and wasn't a huge no name. Pro player isn't restricted to pro teams. Yeah, that's totally true. Yeah, sometimes players just break through. We see it all the time. Like, it happens in pro sports or whatever. Like, this person from a little school in the middle of nowhere goes under. Hell, like Tony Romo went to, what is it? I don't know, like Eastern Tennessee State or something. Went undrafted, was a backup, whatever, and then ends up being a starter in the NFL for like 12 years. You know what I mean? Like, things happen, for sure. Unpredictability is pretty much required in games. Luck allows for a wider play matching. That's fair. I remember the simultaneously proud and angry face my wife gave me when I told her about a month ago she finally beat me without me intentionally punting. That's fair. That's fair. Isn't there some 16-year-old player that is super good, like a Pro Tour good? We have a 14-year-old, 15-year-old. I think she's almost 15. I think that's the only one. I mean, there's some others, though, we've had teenagers before that have been good. So I'm sure there's others I'm not thinking of right now. But we definitely had a couple. There seems to be 1 or 2 every other year or whatever that pop up. So I wouldn't say it's impossible by any stretch. Let's see. I'm like 2-8 against my wife so far, and I've been actually trying every game. Hey, she might be a natural at the game. Feels like they stopped printing Edge, though. No, I think everything is still technically being printed, but there's just print rotations and cycles, right? There's printing that has to be done because you had to get, say, like Lorwyn had to get printed so it could ship during the holiday season and still get to wherever it needs to go. And then there's like a backup print schedule. So you're probably just rotating and prioritizing. So it's probably like, based on sales, Final Fantasy, let's say, is moving at 3 times the speed of Edge of Eternities, which is moving at half the speed of, I don't know, let's say Avatar or whatever. So then they might go, okay, we're going to print Final Fantasy for the next 3 days on these certain presses or whatever. And then we're going to print Avatar for 2 days. And then we're going to fill in Edge of Eternities as these other 2 get done or whatever. So it's just a priority thing. It's not that they're not printing it. It's just you got to take care of whatever the most popular thing is at the time, right? Because that's just what makes sense for business. Mario says, I just want to say thanks for the content this year. I love starting my day with your videos and a cup of coffee. It's amazing how many people have commented that. And I think it's because I'm on the West Coast. So if I put something up at between midnight and 2 a.m., and all my stuff is pre-scheduled right now for the next couple of days, but that's going to show up at between 3 and 5 a.m. for y'all. So if y'all wake up at, say, 6 and you're getting ready for work, like, there's a video ready to go, right? Whereas if I were to put that up at noon my time, then you're not even going to get to see that till probably you're out of work, because that'd be 3 o'clock local time. So it's kind of interesting how the dateline sort of affects how people view your content. It's very interesting. A lot of little stuff that people don't think about. I think it's actually really fun. But yeah, okay. So if everybody can do me a favor, if y'all want to give me a Christmas present, you can do a couple of things. You can, whatever you're watching me on, Twitch, YouTube, Facebook, like, subscribe, follow, whatever the button is for you there. I would really, really appreciate that. Also, if you haven't checked out our sponsor, which you see the little logos on the lower right, Moxfield, post your deck list over there. When I post things and you like my stuff, like, put a like on the deck or whatever so they know that you've gone there or whatever. That always helps. But also, and I put this in every video, but Tales of Adventure, they've been really good to me over this year. And they've been super friendly, and the guys over there really guys over there in charge are really nice. So if you go to Tales of Adventure, if you use my code it'll literally save you 5% on all the magic that you buy. Like, full stop. And they literally said, doesn't matter what you put in the cart, however much, if you use my code, they take 5% off. So if you're wanting to save some money after the holidays, because you already bought everybody else some stuff, you want to get something for yourself, go over and use my code. It'll save some money. And like I said, they take care of me. You know, those are two of my main sponsors right now that help support the channel and keep me going. So I always appreciate if they get some love because they've been really, really nice. Oh, Philip gifted a membership. That's awesome. Oh, man, actually, we've had, what, between you and Catastrophe, that's like 6 memberships I got gifted today. Man, y'all are awesome. Thank you for that. Totally unnecessary, but I always appreciate it. Because, yeah, man, this year, there was a lot of ups and downs. A lot of stuff because of people's attitudes based around things in the world and politics or whatever that have had me having to moderate my comments way more actively than normal. Because there's a lot of knuckleheads with some pretty unfavorable language, we'll say. So that's been fun. Do I need to have a Moxfield account to like your... I don't believe so. I believe when you go on there, there should just be a thing. Or I think to follow somebody, you have to have one maybe. Because I do get email notifications when people follow. Let me go check, actually. I don't really know. Let me go open that up. No, it has a little heart button. I think you can just like without having an account, I think. At least I assume so. At least it looks that way. But yeah, that's it. Like, I try not to ask much of everybody. I do feel like I would rather help y'all with things. And that's why even when I look for sponsors, I try to find something that's helpful to everybody. Oh man, who's gifting all those memberships? Oh, Night Sky, thank you. You didn't have to do that. I really appreciate y'all. You didn't have to though. Seriously. Well, hey, y'all thank everybody else for gifting those memberships because they didn't have to. If y'all aren't on YouTube, y'all are just missing out right now. There's giving memberships left and right. But yeah, I want to, as we get into the new year though, I do want to do some more stuff for the members because I've been doing some videos kind of on location at spots and letting y'all get to ask questions that were going to be in the video that I was talking about with the arena devs. That was only for the YouTube members that went to that. And I think we also took 1 or 2 from the Discord. So if you're in the Discord, that was another way you could participate. I'm also going to be trying to do some different events next year. My God, Livewire. Y'all, come on. I mean, again, I appreciate y'all, legitly. Wait, you put the $5 memberships? Like, yo. Oh, thanks, man. You didn't have to do all that. Gift for the holiday season, both of those were saying. Well, thank you. Thank you. Yeah. I wanted to do a little bit more because I have a thing, and actually, y'all can send some good vibes my way, actually. There's a secret, I just remembered this. There's a secret project. Kind of secret. It's only secret in the sense that I can't talk about it yet because WotC has to approve it. But it's not like a super secret thing. Does that make sense? Like, it's not a crazy idea thing. It's more like, I don't want to put it out into the world if it never ends up happening, basically. But I made a light proposal to them for a thing that goes alongside the Pro Tour. And they sounded interested. But that event happens at the end of February. So they're not even back really in the offices till like the 1st of January. So we're going to find out maybe within first 2 weeks of the year if it's going to be a thing. But I hope that we get to do it. And then I'll talk about that with our YouTube members, you know, if that ends up happening. But I also want to just come up with some other fun things to do. I also have some fun ideas. Okay, I'm going to run this by y'all because there's like 200 y'all between all the different things still watching right now. I have this idea, and I thought about this a couple years ago and I never did it. But I think I want to do it sometime in February or March next year. But how do y'all feel about Magic ASMR? And I know that sounds crazy, but hear me out. I have an idea for like, I think I had 3 different videos I would do. Basically like ASMR of just deck sleeving a commander deck or something. Or packing up a bag for an event, right? You see me get all the deck boxes and the sleeves and they go in there and then like you hear this bag zipping up or whatever. Just like, nothing crazy, just like a 20-minute video, 30-minute video, just Magic ASMR. Cause I don't know if we've really done that. But yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like it's not a thing I'm really into, but it seems like a fun experiment for a video. So I'm kind of going to try it. We'll just see. I mean, I'll probably still doing like small soft chat while we do it, whatever. So it still has a ASMR thing, but it feels like it could be a fun idea. Merry Christmas, Paradragon Check. Hey, Olapod. Merry Christmas to you too. But yeah, man, this was fun. It's been a crazy year. We'll probably stream one more time over the weekend. Or ASMR is basically the videos you see where you hear, it's more about the sounds and the tactileness of things more than the visuals that go with it. So a lot of times it's the videos where you hear people just like very softly whispering while you see them like unboxing a thing or showing you like a plus thing, or they'll have their microphone up real close and they'll be like scratching on a pad and you'll get the sound effects of that, like that type of stuff. That's what ASMR is. So the idea is to enjoy the sounds of whatever the thing is more than the actual like visuals and everything else. So it'd be like the sound of the sleeves removing from the card and all that stuff, and and hearing the magnetic clamp of the deck box, and that's what the ASMR experience is more of. But yeah, we'll probably stream one more time, like I said, during the holiday break. I just don't know when. Yeah, I've not done a lot of ASMR either. It just feels like a fun experience. I like to try different stuff. I mean, if it only gets like 200 views or whatever, I guess we don't do it again. But it feels like it'd be interesting. But yeah, podcasts didn't go live this week because of holiday stuff on either one. But we will be doing Magic Mike's end of year Mikesies next year or next week. So we'll do the recap. We give our weekly awards. That's going to be on Wednesday at 7 p.m. Pacific time. So you'll be able to check that out. And then actually, we didn't do Color of Magic this week because my co-host Brian was having some technical issues. So that'll be up next week as well. So we're trying to keep content going for y'all while you have a holiday break and keep something going. But there will be videos every day. I already have stuff loaded through Saturday. Some sweet videos coming up. I will tell y'all what's going to go live actually in the next hour and a half. So we have, let's see, tomorrow's Christmas. So we have a doubling season deck is tomorrow. It's a Golgari doubling season deck with planeswalkers and stuff. Then we have a really sweet, I'm calling it the maximum ramp elves that goes up on Friday. And then we have a Sozin's Mardu planeswalker deck for Saturday. So 3 really fun decks over the next couple days. So y'all should have plenty to watch to keep you busy. So yeah, lots of stuff. And like I said, still working on other videos on the side. And have some really fun stuff too. I kind of want to show off at some point. A collection of just like rare things people have never seen. Where I have like an old WotC clock and a rare Magic like leather backpack that most people don't even know exist. And some stuff I got while I was at Wizards. So like just lots of different stuff. I think what I realized this year is there's still a lot of content to make and a lot of ideas to explore that we just don't do in Magic. Partly because a lot of times if you're the first one to take a chance on a thing in Magic, it often doesn't hit very well. And somebody else needs to come behind it and make the better version of it or whatever, right? And nobody wants to spend the time to have a thing not go well, right? Because it's like, well, I could make this video that might only get... Well, it's like some of our strategy videos, right? Some of them did half the views of what a regular gameplay video is going to do on my channel. It's like, that sucks. But I'm banking, hopefully, that in the long term, when people look up, like, how do I not get mana screwed so much? Or how do I figure out how to build multicolor decks or whatever? Hopefully, those eventually show up in searches and people see those videos and they get decent views in the long run. That's at least the hope. Now, if they don't, that's unfortunate. We tried our best. Maybe we'll do something else. But I think I still have the same goal I had kind of in the middle of this year. I was working toward having an editor in 2024, but he ended up life changes and job stuff or whatever. So that didn't pan out the way we wanted. So now I'm back to kind of looking for an editor, but I have some other ideas in-house that we're working on. So if it works, y'all will end up getting way more content in 2026. And I have a lot of ideas. So hopefully it works out. Joe John says, what I found fun locally is talking to newer players about what FNM was like 20 years ago, or what regional pre-releases were, and what happened to PPTQs, and that I thought they'd be bored, but they're surprisingly entertained. Maybe some old Magic history, I don't know. Yeah, I thought about that too, and that's what some of the other content is, right? Of crazy stories from when I ran the game store, right? Little 5-minute videos of just like, here's a crazy story, right? And just tell, like, these are real stories that I lived that happened, right? This is a wild story from the Tempest pre-release, because people won't believe what those events were like. You know, so just crazy story time videos. Nothing that I expect to make a lot, but if they get like 1,000 views, I'd be happy, you know? But there's a lot of that stuff I just need time to do because I do so many gameplay videos. I can knock those out so much faster because I have assets pre-built for them, right? I have the transition graphic, and I've got the stuff for the subscription button and blah, 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 right? So I know I can just plug things in, it's all built. But when I do something different, then I have to build new assets for that as part of the editing because they just don't exist, or I have to find certain music or whatever. So funny as it is, a 45-minute gameplay video, or I mean, it starts out longer, but you know, if the final result is a 45-minute gameplay video, that takes me less time to edit than a 6-minute talking head video. Unless I just want it to be just me talking without a lot of graphics and stuff. And sometimes that makes sense, and those are easy. But generally, it's like, oh, let me go find this logo. Let me go find this image. Let me do this thing, you know. And you got to make it not be boring, right? So we'll see. But there's a lot of opportunities still, content-wise. And I think different creators are now experimenting with enough things that Magic players are at least more receptive to those things, I think. You know, even Krim has his own channel now, and he's doing some different stuff. And it's not just gameplay, right? Even though he's known for gameplay over on the Goldfish channel, he's now doing some of his own stuff. And people are like, okay, cool, right? You're seeing different Vorthos folks out there doing like, hey, here's us explaining the Magic story and stuff. And that's starting to take off a little bit. So we're finding spaces where Magic content can open up a little bit, and that's actually really nice. Wheelchair says, my craziest MTG story is when I pulled the God Pack in a draft. It was awesome. Yeah, I bet it was. Olipod says, I dream about a God Pack. I did hit 2 rares and a mythic in a pack, which is pretty cool. Yeah, that's always exciting too. So yeah, there's fun stuff. And then of course, like, we still have opportunity for box openings because I have literally a wall of sealed product behind me. A video of just like, you're kind of wondering what a collection looks like of your favorite streamer or whatever. Like, we could just do a collection tour so people just see kind of what I'm sitting on at any given point, right? That could be a thing. So like, there's a lot of stuff. And I think that's what most of 2026 is probably going to be for me, is different opportunities of things to try at major events, if I can, and then different things to try with y'all while also offering some things to the YouTube members. So we'll see. But anyway, y'all, I'm going to go. I think I'm going to go watch a comedy special on Netflix, just unwind for the end of the night, spend some time with family, and so I can wake up and open some presents in the morning. So I hope whatever it is you celebrate, you get to enjoy that with your family over the next couple of weeks. I know some people don't celebrate Christmas, and that's okay. You know, whatever your jam is. But yeah, I think if anything, like I say all the time, you know, wherever you're watching, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night, because I know some of y'all are watching from all over the world, which I still think is crazy when I get online and do stuff. Also, shout out to lots of people in Brazil and Germany. There's a lot of y'all that watch my YouTube videos. But I always try to tell people, remember to be awesome. But even more importantly than just being awesome, be awesome to each other. Because that's what we really need right now with all the craziness going on. And also legit, if you live on the path between Texas and Washington, D.C., and you see the trail of monks that are marching, offer them some food or water or whatever, because they're only allowed to take things from people that are given as kindness. They can't ask for things or whatever. So help them out, because it's a terrible time to be marching right now. But all right, that's it. Y'all have a good one. Enjoy your holidays. I appreciate y'all. This was a fun stream. Y'all had some sweet decks to try out, and I might even use some of them for some ideas. So we'll see what pops up over the next week.